Oh, why is that? Okay. I know what it is. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, we got a player name on screen. Okay, and we're killing once he kills that. Okay, we're gonna cut to you in 2 seconds. Okay, and what's oh god. Total pair, okay, keep killing that. One. Okay, and cut. And going to four. Hey, man,
Yeah, just like your lighting is so extremely grand, those hillside, jackass parking, it's your hot complex, and what's rapping with these so these residents came on this, or they science and apple products, or these residents to do so. Even this red and so long searching to previously see, I don't know. Panthers are relying for us. Prior to the first race later, you know, this is something just like a favorite. It's something to yes, it's only one experience and obviously it's created also doesn't go on about any region so all stars you can make a big place you get to this that really work the team who makes this any thousand they make his name in the segment that with blue shirts and also ultimately let's take a look now at the one that made shirts flying up and a lineup where very similar actually to what we saw 7 days ago. Absolutely. Yeah, you thought from the imports to fly it. You know, obviously they did it on both sides of the wall. Some of the all-season additions coming from out west.
One you're at.
Trent Lennon, Tucker's Noonan, Bay.
Good shot. Good shot.
See that there were a lot of pops and fields at the stage. Some of them Panthers pitching staff, guys, they did a great job last week bowling that day, and Elliott got things off to a great start. And then the bullpen took it from there. And I think that's kind of going to be the recipe for success for this Kansas City ball. Let's take this graphic off and look at our matchup overall. This again, it's a 3-2. Let's start for the Kitchener Panthers. They did surrender the last game. London winning in their last game as well. When you look for the last first place in the CDL with 34 runs scored. For the average, let's see a little bit better. The ERA, let's see a little bit better, but yes, imagine he's looking at that and saying, you know what, that's going to get better. The main thing, the main stat they're looking for is what's in the W show. Absolutely. I mean, you look at those games and kind of feel back to their state. Game number 1 of the season, the game very much in Toronto takes. We're within 1 of the into that game. You take 1 of the 2 homers, you actually outplay it against the chances. And the only lost game is the next year. The Panthers down 5 and came back. The tie forced the pressure leads through these errors in the 10th of the difference making. So you're 1 or 2 plays away from being 5-0 to start the year. I think one thing that you keep saying about you love the players to be for one. This Panthers team, I've not scored a person in any of these 5 games. It would be great. So I'm always going to go out there and have some brunch in the early seasons. Give me a little bit more. The short start, kind of one time of the team. Around the Steve cells or starting to see guys I mean it's an order you want to come in do that as a short step. You heard certainly when you heard certain things. That's not the way to do it. We're not text the window, get a window. What about the Georgia? Forty-five pitches first start, 49. Which we pitch mark here. But don't watch strikes, one strike, one. Instead of that run forward, your additional Panthers running first to left finger the one that stays up the area. Instead of the first start of the 17-22 first. And here the first was very fine. When you look, great field was 7-67, it's lost an anomaly. It's just the Panthers for 30 to do their emergency. You're dealing with a team order.
Yeah, we got no audio.
year for Tucker Zadunik. The OPS up over 1,200 to start the year. 2 home runs in a couple games will do that for you. And not to mention that he's done a great job limiting the strikeouts as well. 2 walks and has yet to go down via the K on the season.
That one misses again. Lays off of it. Been noticing Zadunik very patient at the plate.
Just the 2 walks, but he'll make you throw a good pitch. And McNeil will talk about really liking that right side of the plate in the early going. He's been trying to keep that ball away from Zadunik, keep it out of his wheelhouse, and that's why he's falling behind in the count.
Here comes the 3-1. That one misses outside, and that is ball 4. As Owen McNeil having a little bit of trouble hitting the strike zone there.
Really confident first couple of batters, but you're right. Then runs that one pitch up and in the Lenahan, plunks him, puts a runner on, and then really all over the place in that last at bat to Zadunik. And what looked like he was going to cruise for the first inning, all of a sudden now you're facing a veteran and there's 2 on.
Yeah, Eddie DeOlio, the batter. And I mean, Eddie has been around this league for a little while now. Now into his 4th season. Feels like just yesterday he was in his rookie year. Checks on the swing. They're going to check over to the first base umpire. James Lyles says that Eddie did not go around, so DeOlio will start at 1-0. The San Juan de la Maguana, Dominican Republic native. Multi-time IBL All-Star.
What's really impressive is that he played in all 42 games last year for the majors as a catcher. Says a lot about your durability, especially at this age. Just does so much for Roop Dad and what he can do with his lineup each and every day, especially when you're going into a stretch like this.
How do your knees not cramp up after 42 games like that?
Oh, I think they do.
2-0 count here on DeOlio with the delivery. That one missing again. That one there was a little bit of a questionable call. I thought that painted the outside, but looks like the home plate umpire thinks otherwise.
Yeah, a little bit of late movement on that slider from McNeil, one that was up in the zone. Thought it would started in the zone and just tailed farther in, but I guess with that late break, they're saying it started outside the zone and broke too late. And just grooves one in there and gives DeOlio a hitter's count in every way, shape, and form.
Count is 3-1. As the fans start to clap here at the couch. Having some technical difficulties with our score bug. We'll have that updated in just a moment. And the delivery, strike 2, and Eddie, he was already towards first base, and Alex Taccone says, come on right back, young man.
I think McNeil's done a really good job these last couple seasons of kind of working his way into a game and discovering and learning that plate umpire strike zone. Obviously, you're dealing with a different strike zone every night, depending on who's behind the plate. And we saw a couple pitches ago, he had that slider up in the zone, called for a ball that we all thought was a strike. And then that time he comes back and paints the corner with the fastball to run the count full.
The delivery inside, that's going to be ball 4, and Eddie DeOlio will get on base. Base is loaded here with 2 away. And like you mentioned, Ian, first 2 batters looked like McNeil was starting to cruise along, but he has issued free passes 3 straight batters, one of them the hard way.
And running up the pitch count in the process doesn't help his case to be available later in the weekend. Talk about how good he's been in the early innings of games. This is a jam that you really need him to work out of and efficiently, and he's making things tough on himself in the early going.
So bring up Starling Joseph with the bases loaded. Starling didn't actually play last year, now into his 4th season in the league, all with the London Majors. In fact, was actually temporarily with the Hamilton Cardinals, was expected to be a coach actually to start the season, but import spot opens up. Starling is healthy. Get on back to Labatt Park, says the London Majors. That one missing on the outside. 2-0. McNeil really having some control issues here.
And lots of it starts with the very first pitch he throws. Last time we saw him out against Chatham, he was right on it. Lots of first pitch strikes. I believe the first 8 batters he faced, he threw 6 or 7 first pitch strikes, but has not been the case these last couple hitters.
That one right across Broadway.
And that definitely seemed like a get it over type pitch for McNeil. I'm just going to bring my best fastball. I'm going to pump it right in the heart of the zone. Joseph taking all the way, and McNeil's back into the count.
Needs a strike here at least, but not too much over the heart of the plate. Swing and a miss. That had some movement to it, and the count is 2-2.
That's a pitch that takes a lot of guts to throw in that situation, because not only is it going to break down in the dirt, you're relying on your catcher to block it, or else it could potentially score a run. But even if he lays off of it and your catcher blocks it, you're behind in the count 3-1. But good bite on that breaking ball, starting at the knees, drops into the dirt, and now it's a 2-2 count.
Here it comes, and he swings at it, but it clunks him in the head. Starling goes right down. And here comes Roop Chanderdat to come check on his designated hitter. That hit him hard. And it'd be interesting to see what the ruling is here.
I mean, that's just going to be a foul ball.
Yeah.
It
Did
hit
he
the
hit
bat,
the bat first?
hit the bat, hit him. That's a foul ball all the way. And one of those ones that's really tough to take as a hitter. I mean, remember a few situations, swing at balls that end up hitting you and you're in so much pain. And hey, not only are you not getting first base, but you got to get back in there and you got a strike against you.
Oh, that's a big man, 6'4", 250, Starling Joseph, and he took all of that right off the bat and right into the helmet.
Now this is, you got to think it's advantage. Oh, McNeil, Joseph has got to be at least somewhat shaken up. You got to think you got to attack him here. Do not load the count with the bases loaded here. Right to Joseph.
The 2-2, and that is across the plate, but it misses downstairs to put the count full.
Almost an identical pitch that he threw last time, just started a bit lower in the zone, and that's what had it fall out of the strike zone. Thought he could maybe get him on back-to-back pitches. But now the runners are going to be going.
Lenahan on third, Zadunik on second, DeOlio on first, and they're going to move as the walk is issued to Starling Joseph, and London has taken a 1-0 lead on a bases-loaded walk.
And now in all 6 games this season, the Panthers trail. They have fallen behind and been scored on first in every game this year. They've come back to win 3 of them. But this is definitely not the start that you drew up for Owen McNeil. We were singing his praises before the game. We knew the walks were an issue for the Panthers pitching staff as a whole. 22 issued so far on the season. That's the most in the CBL. While London has done a great job limiting the walks from their pitching staff, they've only issued 6 through their first 4 games. So 2 very different ends of the spectrum, and kicking off a stretch of 4 games in 4 days. This is not an ideal start for Pete Kiefer, Owen McNeil, and the Kitchener Panthers.
Not at all. Well, Jarrett Burney is now the batter, the Atlanta, Georgia native, first year in the CBL. You see that on the screen, a 167 average, just 2 for 12 to start his career, but boy, oh boy, you don't want to get him on the base path. That one missing on the outside, a bit of movement curving from inside to outside. And Burney is ahead in the count, the center fielder. The delivery, that one's going to go across for strike 1. Burney, one of a handful first-year players here in the CBL. I mean, you count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 14 or 15 first-year players on this London roster of the 25 that's listed.
A lot of unknown coming into this season for sure, and I think they've answered a lot of those questions early going, given it's only 4 games in, but they've already gone and beaten Barrie. They have a 3-1 record on the year. They've shown that even with a very overhauled roster, that they're the same majors team that's ready to compete.
That one clunked right on over to Malik Williams, and he will pick it up for the 3U. That's 3 unassisted, and that will do it for the top half of the first. We got Zeppieri, Kiefer, and Malik Williams upcoming. And when you take a look at what we saw in that first inning, Ian, Panthers lucky to just get out of that, just giving up the one run.
I feel like that's been the discourse a lot in the early going for the Panthers this season. Their pitching staff has played with fire a lot, but as much as we can rag on McNeil for that first inning, full credit, he did end up bearing down and getting out of it with just the one run allowed, walked a lot of guys. We know he can throw strikes, so it shouldn't be that much of a concern to say, hey, just got to go out there and do what he can do, fill up the zone, induce a lot of soft contact. Before the game, talked about how he really plays well to the dimensions of Jack Couch Park, what's known as a hitter-friendly ballpark. Doesn't give up a lot of fly balls, doesn't give up a lot of home runs, relies on soft contact, swing and miss, and a lot of ground balls. And that time just a little too fine in that first inning, and it ended up costing him the one run, but overall could have been a lot worse for Kitchener.
Well, now they're going to face another unknown, one of these many first-year players for the CBL. Cecilio Pimentel will be making his first career CBL appearance. Had the first two scheduled appearances rained out, so has had to wait a little bit before he could actually take the mound in a scheduled game.
Yeah, and Pimentel is a guy who's obviously new to the CBL, but a big veteran presence on the mound for this London team. 33-year-old import out of the DR. Long journey throughout his professional career. Started with the Pittsburgh Pirates organization back in 2011. 14 seasons under his belt and more than 700 career innings. And just a guy with a ton of experience. And the Panthers are going to be in tough tonight. Got to think a big key is going to be jumping on him early. New to this league, new to this ballpark, new to this team. Why don't the Panthers give him the welcome that they would like?
Well, Matteo Zeppieri looking to give him a warm welcome here. He has walked 8 times already this season. Zeppieri, the left fielder, taking his spot at the top of the lineup. He'll take one way inside, but it clips part of the plate according to the home plate umpire for strike one. Zeppieri played with Richmond. Saw limited action in his senior year this past spring, but the kind of pop that he has. He had 12 home runs for D1 Mount St. Mary's a couple of years ago.
A lot of pop in the bat, and great to have at the top of the lineup because he's also such a threat on the base pass, whether or not he's hit an extra base hit or he's grinding out a walk like we've seen him do so many times this year. He can hurt you in so many ways, and especially from the left side of the plate, just makes himself that much more dangerous.
That one takes out Eddie D'Olio. He's got to take a moment. As D'Olio is shaken up, and the trainers are going to have to come and check on him. Not someone you want to see out of the lineup for the London Majors.
No, I mean, not to mention 2 trainer visits in the first inning for one team is never a good sign. I mean, saw Starling Joseph stay in the game and draw that walk that brought in a run, but a guy like D'Olio, we talk about his availability and his ability, and last year playing all 42 games while being a catcher is just so impressive. Can't say enough about how easy that makes things for the manager, because that's not an easy job that D'Olio has to do behind the dish.
Well, looks like he's going to stay in the ball game here as Pimentel gets set up once again. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That's some heat, and that is out number 1. Good looking first at bat for Cecilio Pimentel to look at.
Absolutely. And you got to think that the way that the Panthers have put together their lineup throughout the year, especially when they're facing right-handed hitters, which has been the situation for their 5 starts, they're going to load up with lefties at the top. 2 lefties, and usually you see Fuji sneak in that switch bat, gives you a bit of versatility in your lineup. And what should be advantage Kitchener, they've also had their trouble starting ball games. Mentioned they have fallen behind to start all 5 of their games this season.
The lefty tries to cruise that one right at the knees, but Petey Kiefer laying off of it for ball number 2. Plunk down the side, and that's going to be a foul ball. Count is 2-1. Of course, Kiefer coming over to the Panthers at the transaction deadline last year. I think we can call it a trade deadline now.
I think so.
That one's going to paint the outside edge for a strike. And some groans from the Jack Couch faithful on that last call.
I mean, those are the calls that McNeil was getting in the first inning himself. That outside corner has been there for the pitcher's taking.
The 2-2. That one sent up high, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Good job by Petey Kiefer to get onto that one. And it's not necessarily a power kind of swing from Petey, but you kind of see why he has his average as high as it does. As quickly, let's take a look at the defense for the London Majors playing in behind Cecilio Pimentel. Jordan Babiak, Bernie, and Zadunik playing in the outfield. Gene, Escato, Dreyers, and Lenahan is the infield. De Olio still in the ball game in behind home plate, catching Pimentel here tonight.
Going back to what you said, Mark, really good piece of hitting from Kiefer there on that last pitch from Pimentel. Just a fastball on the outside part, low in the zone, and the exact same pitch that was just called for a strike. So with 2 strikes, Kiefer's obviously got to be a bit more defensive at the plate. Goes with that pitch, just flares it in the left field the other way. That's exactly what you want from a hitter in that situation.
You know who did that very well? Ichiro. Again, not a power hitter by any means, but you could tell just by the swing, just a contact hitter, get enough power underneath it to get it over the infield.
I think what makes Kiefer so impressive is he can come up with that bigger swing when you need it. I mean, we've seen him already have a multi-homer game this season. He's gone deep a couple times, and we've seen him have a couple doubles in a game too. He can hit the ball to the fence when you're down 5 late in the game and you need it. We saw him start the rally Tuesday night in Barrie, but in a situation like that, nobody on, just trying to start a rally, great situational hitting from Petey Kiefer.
That's going to be a called strike. Personally, I don't agree with that one. That one looked like it was painting really the chalk on the outside.
It seems like the plate umpire tonight has been giving that call, 1 or 2 balls width off the strike zone away from the batter. It's just up to the pitchers to keep hammering that spot.
That one's going to go down the line, but it's just foul. Well, and that's the whole thing, right? Like if it's got to be both ways. If you're going to be calling it a certain strike zone in a certain area, it's got to be for both sides. At the end of the day, if that's the way you call it, teams can't complain. You established it early, you establish it often, the players have to adapt.
That's it. Pitchers have to adjust, hitters have to adjust. We saw McNeil adjust in that first inning with his pitching, and we saw Kiefer adjust in the very last at bat. Hit that fastball in the outside corner.
The 2-2 is going to be strike 3. Malik Williams goes down swinging. And there's 2 away.
And so far in the bottom half of this first inning, Cecilio Pimentel is getting all the kind of swing and miss that we're used to seeing McNeil get that he didn't get in that first inning. Those breaking balls that start in the bottom half of the zone drop out, and you're usually looking for a swing and miss at a pitch in the dirt. That time, Malik Williams unable to lay off it. We saw Matteo Zeppieri strike out on almost the exact same pitch.
Isvani Penalve, now the batter, doesn't have a home run to his credit so far this year, but the average ticking up quite a bit. Bit of a half swing there for strike 1.
Yeah, that slider has been working really well for Pimentel in the early going. Already has 2 strikeouts on it and makes Penalve look silly on the first pitch he throws to him.
That pink bat. Guy's got style. Pimentel takes a look over at first. The runner's going to go. Throw into second base, and he is out. They get him. De Olio guns down Petey Kiefer, and that's going to do it for the inning. The Panthers trail the Majors 1-0 through 1 inning of play. We'll be back on the other side. The Majors back up to bat here on KPTV Live.
Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me in. Yeah. Can't answer my phone now. Just leave it there. That tone. Ballin', can't think me up, cause I'm back in my zone now. Cause I'm back in my zone now.
Welcome back to KPTV Live. Mark Perry, Ian Jodry here with you from the couch. From our couch to yours, we thank you for tuning in here on a Thursday night. The London Majors up 1-0, and David Dreyers is up to bat, the second baseman.
We should call a game on a couch.
We should call a game on the couch, as that is going to be an out at first. A great job by Owen McNeil to get on over to first. And Malik Williams and his starting pitcher team up to get that out.
One pitch, one out. You'll always take it. And a very interesting start for both sides. I mean, you look at London, they do end up scoring a run, loading the bases in that first inning. Don't manufacture a hit. Panthers' second hitter gets a hit. Kitchener does not score, and they end up only sending the minimum to the plate in that bottom half. So, Owen McNeil loves to get a quick out to start the second inning.
Luis Jean now the batter, as that's going to be strike one. Jean has been kind of in and out of the IBL/CBL world, as that's going to go way inside. Jean steps out of the way. Was with Hamilton in 2022, won a championship with the Welland Jackfish in 2023. McNeil gets set. The delivery, that one upstairs. No doubt about that one. That one was too high. 2-1 the counts.
Jean's also a guy with, some minor league experience at Double-A, and I think it kind of just goes to show, and we've seen it this year, not just with him, but so just because a guy has a great resume doesn't mean they're going to come in and tear up this league. Lots of times they come in, there's adjustments to make across the board in many different ways, and I think Jean's kind of going through that right now. One hit in his first 9 at bats, an OPS under 400, and no doubt that he'll have it figured out. He's a guy that they brought in to be a speedy middle infielder, but the resume doesn't always translate as many people think it will at this level. I mean, just last night, talk about Yasiel Puig, a couple really ugly at bats, but still, when it comes down to it, you have no doubt in your mind that a hitter like that is going to fix that.
You'd think so. I mean, MLB All-Star, made it to a World Series. Some batters, they tend to figure things out. It's that professional mindset, those pro intangibles.
I mean, after that first game against the Panthers, I thought he was going to be headed towards getting the Barry Bonds treatment the rest of the year, either a walk or a home run, but that was quickly put to rest.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Luis Jean goes down swinging, and that'll be the second K on the night for Owen McNeil.
And that's a pitch that McNeil was throwing a lot in that first inning, that breaking ball that starts at the bottom of the zone and kind of tails away from the hitter, a slider that finishes in the opposite batter's box. And the Majors did a really good job laying off those pitches in the first inning, but there he gets Gene to bite at that slider tailing away from him.
So back to the top of the order with Michael Escato. Another guy with affiliate ball experience, as there's a swing and a miss for strike one, developed in both the Yankees and the Pirates systems for a time. He's originally signed in 2018 as an international free agent by the Yanks. The 0-1, that one's going to be cued foul. When you look at that game we saw last week here, Ian, there were some struggles with some batters. Michael Escato was not one of them.
No, I mean, he does a great job. There's a reason that he's slotted into that lineup spot and plays shortstop. He's a guy that Rube Chanderdat can lean on, get on base all the time, and he's got such a smooth swing. It's so tough for these pitchers to face him. And full credit to McNeil getting him to fly out in that first inning, but he's a tough out every time he steps up.
The 0-2, that one's going to be cued into right field and a base hit for Escato as he is 1 for 2.
I mean, that just speaks exactly to what I was saying. That was a pitch that was not in the strike zone. That was up at his eye level. He did a great job going up and getting that ball. There's very few hitters around professional baseball that can go up and take that pitch up at their eye level for a hit. Now, that ball maybe wasn't that high, but a great job going up there, extending his arms, bat around the shoulder level, and just pokes it into right field for an opposite field single.
So Jaden Babiak now the batter. A versatile utility man in the system. Throw over to second base, and he got some. Oh my. Junior Ibarra guns it down, and that is going to end the inning. Testing the arm of the Panthers catcher does not go well for Escato, and we are heading to the Panthers side of this second inning. And Ian, that just goes to show, don't try to run on Junior Ibarra. He tends to get the best of it more often than not.
I mean, what a great catcher versus catcher matchup for a second week in a row. I mean, last week we saw Ibarra do the same thing, and then in the bottom half of the first inning, we saw DeOlio throw a keeper trying to take second base. What made that throw so impressive from Ibarra? He was still at his knees. He didn't get out of the crouch. He wasn't in position to get that power off his back foot that you usually need to throw out a runner at second base. But also, not quite sure what Michael Escato was thinking there. He didn't even make an attempt to slide into second base. Made the job very easy for Zane Scansey. Just tagged him up on the chest, and good play on both ends to get that third out of the inning.
Well, that'll bring up Penalve, Ibarra, and Gross. And I mean, you just mentioned that catcher matchup. Penalve is going to be the first batter up. We just saw Penalve a moment ago before Petey Kiefer was gunned down by Eddie DeOlio. So, with the Panthers, perfect 10 for 10 coming into tonight on stolen bases. Already with one caught stealing to start the year here tonight. I wonder if that plays into the strategy, because we have seen it all throughout the first 5 games of the year. The Kitchener Panthers, they love the base running. They love to steal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at last year, they were in that upper half in terms of stolen bases overall for the season. They stole 77 bags in 42 games played. And based on the pace they're operating this year, you got to think that number is going to be even higher. And they're going to rely on those guys to, take extra bases and set up guys like Penalve and your power hitters to then drive you in the late stages of games, because there's no doubt that there's going to be a ton of runs scored at that ballpark. If you could do yourself a favor and buy 90 feet here and there with your speed on the bases, it's a big weapon for Pete Kiefer.
So here comes Penalve once again, and switching bats. He had the pink bat going for him in the last inning, decided, nope, I need a new twig here. So he's going with a little bit of different lumber to work here. And a different lumber doesn't really do well for him, as that one goes over to second base. Dreyers to Lenahan, and that'll be 1 out.
Not too often you see a guy switch bats mid at bat when the first one doesn't break.
And it's interesting, too. It's not like he had bad luck in that last inning. It was just,
I think you only saw 1 or 2 pitches before Kiefer took off.
was the other guy that ended up ending the inning for him.
Breaking ball from Pimentel just misses upstairs. Seen him throw that breaking ball a lot so far earlier in this game, but most of them started low in the zone. Anytime you throw that up, you risk hanging one, and to a dangerous hitter like Junior Ibarra, you do not want to leave a hanging breaking ball up in the zone.
The All-Star Showdown MVP from last season. Swings and sends a fly ball into shallow left center, and it's going to get up there, but too much air underneath that one, and Bernie is going to come in from center field to make the catch, 2 away.
Just a pitch that got in on Junior's hands. Another breaking ball up in the zone. He took the first one. That one looked like he was going to be a strike, just out in front of it a bit, and leads to an easy out in center field.
And that'll bring up Rafi Gross. And, Rafi's been a guy that's grown on me in his short time here as a Panther. And, one of the stalwarts of the outfield for the Panthers this season, very consistently getting put into that center field position.
And then they're going to rely on him a lot for his defense in center field, no doubt about it, this season. Haven't really seen what he can do yet at the plate, but should get a couple at bats tonight.
There's a chopper, and that's going to be a foul ball. Throw over to first would have been in time, but home plate umpire Alex Taccone says that is going to be a foul ball.
Full credit to DeOlio. He tried to sell it and play it off like that ball skipped in front of the plate first, but where he touched that ball is what's important, and it's the right call for it to be foul ball for strike 2.
Yeah, so an 0-2 count here on Gross. The Winnipeg, Manitoba native in his first year in the CBL was the 2025 MVP in the Mavericks Independent Baseball League. Also seen time collegiately with Baton Rouge in the Texas Collegiate League, Texas Southern University. That one's going to be in play, but it's going to go right to Lenahan, and he's going to take that one unassisted. And it's 3 up, 3 down for the Panthers, who remain off the board through 2 innings of play. The London Majors have a 1-0 lead through 2 innings as we are going to head to break. We'll be back with the 3rd inning after this. This is Panthers Baseball on KPTV Live. Welcome back to Panthers baseball on KPTV Live. As first pitch seen by Jaden Babiak, it's going to roll right on over to Zane Scansey. He'll throw it over to Malik, and that'll be one away. One pitch, one out for Owen McNeil, and you see that pitch count already up to 41. But again, 30 pitches in that first inning, relatively what you want to see in that second inning by comparison.
I mean, absolutely. Those are kind of, it's been vice versa for his first couple starts this season, where we've seen him fly through the first inning or two and then kind of have trouble as the game goes on. But really turned things around in that second inning, got a one pitch, one out, and does the same to get Babiak here to start the third.
That one's upstairs for ball one on Trent Lenahan. Was hit by a pitch right in the ribs his last time up, but he came around to score on the bases loaded walk. It's the only run on the board here so far. The 1-0, that one missing way outside. The alum of UBC skies one deep into center field, and that one is gone. Trent Lenahan goes yard here at the couch, his second of the season. That one's a solo shot, and London's up 2-0.
Talked earlier in the game about how this London team, a lot of new faces, but a lot of pop in their lineup is what they added in the offseason. And one of them is Trent Lenahan. Only had 3 hits in his first 15 at-bats of the year, but one of them was a home run. And already for 2 of your 4 hits to be hit out of the ballpark to start the season, that's a big addition for this London team.
The big bat strikes. We're going to be seeing a lot of home runs. This is a hitter-friendly ballpark. As Lenahan goes yard here in this third inning. Swing, and Tucker Zadunik gets a piece of that one. Fouls it away. 1-1.
The danger doesn't really stop after Lenahan in this majors lineup. Then it goes right to Zadunik in the cleanup spot, a guy who's just been mashing the ball to start the season, getting on base as well when he needed. Walked, and then was stranded at third his last time up. So with that walk, he's got an OPS up over 1,200 to start this season. So he's off to a flying start this year, and a tough third batter of the inning for McNeil to face.
It's a 1-2 count here on Zadunik. Has the walks here so far, as that one's taken inside. The patient approach there from Zadunik is puts the count at 2-2. The delivery. Skied high. This one is going to go into right field. Penalve tracking it, and he'll make the catch. A little bit too much air underneath that baseball for Tucker Zadunik, and there's 2 away.
One of those breaking balls that started in the upper half of the zone and kind of drops to your knees. And lots of times you'll see pitchers, they end up hanging that pitch if they don't get the kind of RPMs that they want on it, the spin rate that they need for that ball to break down. But McNeil does a good job executing that pitch, results in a fly ball for out number 2.
So bring up Eddie DeOlio once again, as that one misses on the outside edge. DeOlio also walking his last time up. The delivery, that one's upstairs. 2-0 here on Eddie.
This is the part of the lineup that McNeil had trouble with in the first issue. Those 3 consecutive walks. One of them scored a run, so we'll have to see him work through this part of the order a lot more efficiently, especially if they want him to pitch into the mid to late innings of this game. And talk about that pitch count. Needed 30 to get through the first inning. Already up over 50 here and out to go in the third.
The 3-0 lays off of that one. That's going to be ball 4, as it does not catch the inside corner. And DeOlio, second time tonight, he takes the free pass. Seems like McNeil kind of trying to pitch around Eddie on that last at bat.
We've seen that a lot from McNeil when he faces the order for a second time. I think he's a little bit more careful, which you don't want to necessarily harp on. He's trying to avoid giving up, a big hit in a very hitter-friendly park, but that time didn't even give his field a chance to record an out.
Here's Starling Joseph. That one goes downstairs, underneath the knees. 1-0. Again, you want to see that pitch count. If you're Owen McNeil, you got to keep this under 60 by the end of this inning at minimum.
Looking for a big ground ball here.
Swing and a miss. Looks like a bit of it caught the bat, but that'll put the count at 1-1.
Great pitch. I mean, that was the same pitch that he threw to Joseph in the last inning that resulted in that foul ball that went off his bat and then off his face. That breaking ball that starts on the inner half of the plate and just stays there and drops towards the knees.
Swing and a miss again for strike 2. That one had a bit of a home run cut to it.
Seen him go breaking ball, fastball now. McNeil, this is usually where you see him throw that slider, that put away pitch, especially when he's up in the count.
Curving it toward the outside of the plate.
Yeah, I'm looking for a slider here that finishes in the left-handed batter's box.
McNeil checks on DeOlio. Here comes the 1-2. Way outside, evens the count.
Tried to challenge him with the fastball, tried to get Joseph to chase that one, but ended up tailing that one just a bit too far off the plate. No chance he was going to offer.
London as a team hitting .288 on the season. That's second only to Hamilton, who's batting .306. Hamilton's really picked it up lately.
I mean, I think a lot of that had to do with that big Friday night shutout win they had against the Barnstormers, where it seemed like everyone was filling up the box score in that game.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Another K for Owen McNeil. And keeps the runner stranded as we head to the bottom of the third inning. The Kitchener Panthers will send Zane Scansey, Charlie Towers, or rather Jamie Cabral and Charlie Towers to the plate.
And you got to think in the bottom half of this third inning, the Panthers would love to run up Pimentel's pitch count. He only needed 23 to get through these first 2 innings compared to McNeil, who's now thrown 59 pitches, 31 of them for strikes, and has gotten 15 swing and miss in the process. That's a season high for him in whiffs. But obviously the damage has started for London. The hit by pitch that ended up walking in a run, and then the solo homer to Trent Lenahan. So he's gotten hit hard a few times, but the big concern for McNeil is certainly the pitch count. And these bottom 3 for the Panthers, love to see them get a rally going and give Pimentel a bit of trouble. He hasn't had to deal with much so far in the first 6 outs.
I'd like to see some stretched out at bats here for sure. Maybe a 6 to 7 pitch. And we know the Panthers are good at that. They lead the league in walks. They have walked 25 times coming into tonight. That is first. London second, Welland third, although London and Welland both coming in tied for second, in fact, at 16 walks apiece. But, just looking at that stat line alone, Panthers, not only they walk, they also get on base the hard way. They've been hit by a pitch 7 times already this year. So bottom of the order here for the Panthers, Zane Scansey will start things off. The Rookie of the Year of the Western Canadian Baseball League from a year ago, moving on over to Ontario here for 2026. And he is a big option to have here for the Panthers. There's the delivery downstairs. It's going to miss for ball 1.
Yeah, just 4 hits in Scansey's first 14 at-bats in the league, but 3 of them have gone for doubles. He has been able to find the gap a couple times this year, and anytime you can get pop like that at the bottom of the order, that is oftentimes what's the difference in a ball game. Last week was Jamie Cabral that was the difference with his 3-run home run, also hitting down in the bottom third of the order. And Really like the way that Pete Kiefer has structured this lineup and tried to spread out the power.
There's a swing and a miss.
Good hack. Up 2-0 in the count and was sitting fastball, ended up getting dealt a breaking ball, so it was out in front of it.
Yeah, I don't mind that swing. I don't mind that swing one bit, as that's going to be a strike. 2-2 the counts. The Gig Harbor, Washington native was with Okotoks last season, winning that Rookie of the Year in the Western Canadian League. A .363 average, 11 home runs. Also 45 ribbies to go along with it. The 2-2, and that's going to be strike 3. Tees him up looking. And that'll be the third strikeout for Pimentel.
Really good pitch mix from Pimentel, and that at bat. I mean, started with a couple fastballs, then came with that breaking ball when he was up 2-0 that got Scansey off balance, and then comes back with another fastball and well crafted after falling behind 2-0, ends up throwing 3 straight strikes and continues to cruise the first 7 batters.
Swing and a miss for Jamie Cabral for strike 1, and you mentioned it 7 days ago. He had the big homer for the Panthers in that win over the Majors.
Kind of comes back to getting guys to do different things to help you win. I mean, Jamie Cabral's not a guy that you're asking to go out there and be a slugger, but he's a guy that you rely on for good defensive abilities, speed on the base paths, and just being a very versatile player. But if you can get some pop like that at the bottom of your lineup, that is oftentimes what can be the difference between a win or a loss, and that is what propelled the Panthers to victory a week ago.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3, and that's 2 straight strikeouts, this time of the swinging variety.
And Cabral just looked kind of lost that entire at bat. He was swinging at everything, the breaking balls that he was just not really close on, and really good pitch mix continuing from Pimentel, and that's why he's been so efficient now as he faces his 9th batter of the game. If he gets Towers here, he will have faced the minimum. Breaking ball drops in there for strike 1.
Yeah, Charlie Towers, the third baseman tonight, as he chops that one foul. Look out! That one goes right into the Majors dugout. A couple of London fans here in attendance wearing those YMCA jerseys they had the other nights. That one missing downstairs. 1-2 the count.
Interesting enough, with Towers taking Fuji's spot in the lineup and on the field and being a lefty for a lefty matchup, gotta wonder if Fuji will be an option off the bench later.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3 as Cecilio Pimentel strikes out the side. He's up to 5 Ks, and the Majors have a 2-0 lead here on the Kitchener Panthers through 3 innings of play. We'll be back for the 4th on the other side. Stay with us. You're watching Kitchener Panthers baseball on KP.
Everyone dreams of being great. Only a select few can be iconic. But only one is chosen. Introducing the Chosen One from Rawlings. The all-new one-piece composite iteration of the top-rated and established Icon BB Core bat.
Welcome back to KPTV Live, everyone. Cameron Stirrup here. If you can't be at the ballpark to pick up some swag, remember you can get your gear online. We have Keg Tappers gear with your name on it. Just scan the QR code and shop right now.
Certainly some great gear that you want to check out there is the very first batter of the inning. Jarrett Burney chops one to third, and good play by Towers. Had to wait on that ball, then ends up making a strong throw to first for out number one of the fourth inning, and third straight inning that McNeil has gotten an out on the first pitch he's thrown, and that's going to be crucial. Don't see anyone. Oh, yep, we do have some action in the Kitchener bullpen, so good chance, regardless of how this inning goes, it's the last time we see Owen McNeil tonight.
David Dreyers will take ball one there. As as we've talked about, just 7 innings of work for Owen McNeil through 2 appearances so far. So getting around to the point in time where he could be pulled out of this game.
Already a season high in pitches. Mentioned he's averaging 49 pitches through his first 2 starts of the season, so he's gone up over that. And of course, the 4 games in 4 days, got to imagine that Pete Kiefer would like to use him at one other point in this upcoming stretch.
That one's way inside for a ball on David Dreyers. The delivery, that one's going to clip the outside edge. Another former UBC baseball player in Dreyers.
Got a lot of them on this London roster.
Yeah, it's a good program to pull guys from, let me tell you. A UBC Thunderbirds team, that program in general, they are tough. Throwing over to first, and Dreyers is going to be retired on another 5-3 this inning. And that'll bring up Luis Jean with 2 away.
Much easier play for Charlie Towers that time. Didn't have to wait on that ball, and obviously he got to come in. Much shorter throw, but he's done well when called upon so far in the early going. Obviously a position that's usually occupied by Yasuke Fuji.
That one just missing on the outside. Luis Jean struck out his last time up back in the 2nd inning.
This is where you'd really like to see McNeil pitch with some confidence. He's starting to settle in now. This is his 2nd full time through the order. He got Jean his last time up. He's a guy who struggled so far in his early CBL career, just 1 hit in his first 9 at bats. Really like to see him fill up the strike zone here and get that Panthers batting order back on the field for the bottom half.
I wouldn't mind seeing him for another inning if he can get through Jean and have a good 1-2-3 here. The 1-1, that one's right across Ottawa Street, putting the count at 1-2.
Yeah, obviously it's something that Pete Kiefer will never reveal to us, but you got to imagine that they had a pitch count set coming into the night of what they would allow Owen to throw. And already, as you mentioned, throwing a season high in pitches. Would love to see him go one more. It's just a question of what the limit they set for him before tonight's start.
That one's way outside, 2-2. We mentioned that, he has made the rounds around this league. Playing in Hamilton, winning that championship with Welland, was actually signed to a card with the Brantford Red Sox last season, but never played.
I think they could have used him.
They could have used him. The 2-2 way outside, 3-2. Although, I will say, the roster that they have been able to put together, they're slowly starting to find some pieces, and I would not be surprised if Brantford is, even still in that playoff conversation later in the year than what you would expect. Ultimately, I don't see them as a playoff team personally, but I think they're going to give some teams a run for their money, as that is on the inside edge for strike 3. Luis Jean goes down, and that is another K for Owen McNeil. Make that one 4 on the night for the big man, as we will head to the Panthers side of the 4th inning, and it's going to be the top of the order Ian, for the Kitchener Panthers in Zepieri, Kiefer, and Williams. And, it'll be the second time around the order. This will be a telling point of, how effective Pimentel can be in this game, because now every batter's gotten to see him at least once.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd like to think that the Panthers lineup did not like what they saw from him their first time through. Was dealing through the first 3 innings and obviously hasn't thrown many pitches tonight, up in the mid-30s so far. And now the Panthers lineup is going to see him for a second time. 2 lefties to start the inning, and then it gets to Malik Williams, a big power bat. So one of the first 2 guys that they can get on and then gets to the meat of that Panthers order, a few right-handed hitters. They could potentially set themselves up to string a few hits together and get on the board. Pimentel just hasn't really been tested at all so far in his first 3 innings of work tonight.
Well, he's got the lefty arm, and I think that's kind of a strategy that will work in the Majors' favor too. Again, knowing how active the Panthers can be on the base paths, and you look up and down the lineup, they got a lot of speed that they have put 1 through 9 here tonight, including having Cabral as your designated hitter. You don't have that unless you're thinking about stealing a couple of bags here tonight. So having the lefty out there to keep that extra eye on first base, I'd imagine is something that the Majors thought about coming into their decision making here tonight.
Absolutely. I mean, when you look at the lineup the Panthers are going to throw out there, and if you have a lefty who's ready to go, you need to get him in for a start this year. Seemed like a no-brainer for Roop Chanderdat.
1-0 count here on Zepieri. He struck out to lead off the bottom of the first as he takes one way inside.
Ton of swing and miss for Pimentel in the early going. 24 strikes, 11 whiffs, and of course those 5 strikeouts, 4 of them have been of the swing variety. So he's been getting exactly what you want from a big lefty.
The 2-0, that one very similar spot, but it catches a part of the strike zone that time to put the count at 2-1.
And you can tell that was not what Zepieri was sitting on there. Had to be thinking fastball. That one just kind of had him buckle at the knees, not ready to pull the trigger on it.
That one missing at the knees. 3-1 count.
Very similar pitch, just started lower. And credit to Zepieri, when you see 2 pitches like that, oftentimes your first instinct as a hitter is to offer at it, but great job to lay off it and force him to throw another pitch.
That'll get inside, and that'll be a walk. First walk issued by Pimentel.
And this is a Majors pitching staff that has issued the second fewest walks in the CBL, only 6 coming in tonight. And Panthers finally got a leadoff base runner, and they've got the right guys up to try and build off of it.
So here comes Petey Kiefer, and you're right. This is the part of the order that you like to have on with runners on base. Zepieri, 3 stolen bases, so we'll keep an eye out on him. As ball 1 to Petey Kiefer. He singled in the first inning, but got caught stealing on the base paths.
Well, we know this Panthers coaching staff has no problem giving their base runners the green light, but you got to wonder if there's going to be any second guessing after Kiefer was gunned down by Deolio in the first.
That one's tracking to left field. Babiak getting underneath it, and right on the right side of the foul line is Babiak. He makes the catch. And just like that, there's one away. Too much air underneath that baseball for Petey Kiefer's liking.
Yeah, just a pitch up in the zone, one that Kiefer didn't really see in his first at-bat. Last time it was that fastball low away in the zone that he just went with and lifted into left field. But it's no secret that Pimentel, to these lefty batters, has liked throwing away to them in the early going.
Well, here comes Malik Williams. Funny story about him. So we had him on the CBL Changeup podcast, him and his brother. And, we talked about, how many home runs can you hit consistently playing here at Jack Couch's? He's just going to put that one into right center. Running around to third is Zepieri, and that's a base hit for Malik Williams. So he hits that home run in this ballpark last week. And our co-host, Braden Farrington, a former Major, well, he made a wager. Hey, if you guys can hit a home run in the first game or so, I'll put on some Panthers gear. And sure enough, a video came out of the former London Major wearing some Panthers swag.
Wow.
And I'm not going to lie, I didn't mind the look. I'm sure London fans will think otherwise, for obvious reasons. I mean, you play 10 years for a team, you don't want to see him in other colors, but Malik Williams doing his job and Braden keeping to his word.
I mean, Malik Williams, just a real professional piece of hitting there. When you drop a hit and run, that's exactly what you want. Hits it to the right side of the infield, and with
that one's right to the bag. Throw into home, and he's safe. Panthers on the board. Throw to home, not in time. As Yosvani Penalve will end up with an RBI on that one.
And that all starts with that hit and run on the play before, when Williams drew the second baseman in towards the bag because Zeppieri was off and running. That allowed him to go first to third. And that's exactly what manufactured the run. If it had just been a single and Zeppieri standing at second base before that play, the Panthers do not score. So it's those little things that can add up, and Kitchener does everything right there to manufacture a run, a hit and run, gets the runner 90 feet away, and a ground ball brings him home.
Well, here's Junior Ibarra. He flew out to the center fielder last time up. First pitch swinging, but that one's going to be a foul ball. Noticing this about the Panthers as well, especially in this last couple of batters, they're really starting to go after him early. They're really starting to, swing and make contact with the baseball very early in the counts.
Just kind of the opposite of what I thought they were going to do. I thought we'd see, Pimentel, they'd want to see him throw a few more pitches, have him work that pitch count up, but I think just the way he's been pitching, you kind of go up there with the approach, hey, if I see a good pitch, the first one I see, I got to take advantage and hop on it.
Ibarra will flare that one into center field. Malik Williams charging to home, and he's going to get in there standing, and we are tied at 2. Junior Ibarra with an RBI single.
And Junior just does so many things well, and one of them is just professional hitting like that. A pitch up in the zone, not easy to hit for a base hit, but just a cool, relaxed swing, doesn't try to hit it to the wall, puts it in a perfect spot. And, watching Willis break off the bag at second, didn't get a great jump off the bat, and I think there's a chance if that ball wasn't cut off on the throw from the outfield, there might have been a play at the plate, but Panthers will take it. They manufacture some runs with some good small things, a hit and run, good plate approach.
And yet again, turning on the pitch early. Nobody over at first, and that's going to be Rafi Gross getting on safely. Another clutch piece of hitting from the Panthers, and they catch the London Majors sleeping on defense.
It doesn't have to be anything flashy, and that's exactly what Rafi Gross did there. Just a ground ball to the right side and gets the fielders all out of sort. Lenhan goes over to play it. Pimentel not over to cover the bag at first, and Gross, great awareness, turns on the Jets, not dogging it to first base, and the inning continues after Pimentel was just cruising right along. Things have changed in a hurry.
So here comes Zane Scansey as a meeting of the minds on the mound here for the London Majors. The Panthers have scored 2 in this inning to tie this game 2-2, and now have 2 runners on base with 2 away. But they know it's not going to be too easy. But they know if they can get some more runners on and across the home plate, it's going to be too sweet.
Well, that's exactly it. If you finish this inning with just the 2 runs, you kind of let Pimentel off the hook here. But if you keep the train moving here and potentially chase him from the game earlier and get into the underbelly of that Majors bullpen, that's advantage Panthers.
That one right over the head. Throw over to first, and they're going to call him out. That is a bang-bang play at first base. But they get the out, and they get out of the inning. But the Panthers get a couple across, and we are tied at 2 after 4 here at the couch. Stay with us. You're watching Kitchener Panthers baseball on KPTV Live.
What I look for in a Rawlings is a combination of things. Something that will kind of maintain for a long period of time. I've had a lot of success with Rawlings over the years.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is the feel. The feel is everything. It's good to get that feel in your hands, and when you have a Rawling, it's more easy to catch. Weight goes a long way, and I feel like Rawlings does a really good job of getting you top of the line leather
As far as the leather, I usually stick to Pro Preferred. I've actually always used Pro Preferred. I loved it from the start, so I'm kind of a guy, if I like something, I usually don't change it. So since the first day I signed with Rawlings, I've been using Pro Preferred.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is it's always felt the same. It never falls apart. It feels good every single day I put it on my hand. And it's a Mark of a Pro.
Get your tickets now for Kitchener Panthers baseball. We have a lot going on in our first professional season, from theme nights to giveaways and so much more. We are the hottest ticket in town this summer. Single tickets and flex packs are on sale now.
Top of the fifth, here at the couch, London 2, Kitchener 2. As that's going to go across for strike one. Michael Escotto, 1 for 2 in tonight's ball game. And Owen McNeil is out there for a fifth inning of work.
Good to see. We haven't seen any Panthers starter qualify for a win yet this season. I've yet to see any of them complete 5 full innings. But hey, if McNeil can get through this top half of the fifth and the Panthers were to take the lead, he would be in line for the win. And his offense has given him a chance here, given him a bit of run support and a clean slate here for the fifth.
Here comes the 0-2. That one's queued up high, and that's going to get and drop in right center field. And Michael Escotto was 2 for 3.
So dangerous at the top of the lineup. Nothing that will blow you out of the water. Just good hitting. Just goes with that pitch and takes it the other way. And good pitch from McNeil. Just really good piece of hitting from Escotto to lead off the inning with a knock.
That'll bring up Jaden Babiak, who's 0 for 2. And the bunt is going to be dropped and caught by Junior Ibarra, and he runs into Babiak. Just a bit of a, excuse me, sir, what are you doing there? As Babiak is retired.
I mean, credit to Ibarra staying with that ball, but the way he ran into Babiak there, I think if he would have jarred the ball loose, they almost might have had to call interference on the play and issue an out regardless. But failed bunt attempt, and it's plays like that that can change things in a hurry for a team. One pitch, one out, just like that. And instead of having the runner moved over to second, now Owen McNeil's in a much better situation.
That's a missed opportunity, to say the very least. You want to talk about opportunities. The Barrie Baycats taking an opportunity to get some jobs done in Welland. A 6-1 scoreline last time I checked, as that one skied high deep into left center, and that's going to get all the way to the fence. Circling around third is Escotto. He gets the stop sign at third, and that is a stand-up double for Trent Lenahan.
I thought Escotto was going to get the wave around second there. Zeppieri didn't play it exactly clean off that wall in left center field, and a relay throw into short that took a few bounces. Thought Escotto was going to get the wave, but never want to make an out at home, and with a big hitter in Zaduna coming up, he'll take 2 on and 1 out.
Well, Lenahan, 2 for 2, a home run and a double. He was also hit by a pitch and later scored. In fact, Lenahan is the runner that has crossed home plate twice for the Majors in this game. The only 2 runs on the board so far for the visitors, as that one misses outside for Tucker Zadunik. Now, with McNeil on the bump, do you feel like it's more of a, hey, try to get out of some jams, or more of a thinking ahead to, we need some of these bullpen guys for the next few games, or maybe a little bit of both?
I'd have to lean a little bit of both. I mean, at some point you want to kind of build him up to starters workload, and that's going to be a gradual build. We talk about he's been around 50 pitches to start the year. He's knocking on the door of 80. We'll probably end up throwing a full slate of pitches, but it's also the fact that you've got to find a way to get through 36 innings in the next 4 days.
Delivery, that one's queued up high into center field. Gross gets underneath it. The throw into home is going to get right to Ibarra, but he is taken off of home plate. And Escato comes in to score to make it 3-2.
A good at bat from Zadunik, does his job with 2 runners on no matter what, especially with the infield in. You just want to get that ball to the outfield. Hits it deep enough that even with a good throw from Gross, no chance to get the speedy Escato tagging up at third, but you get a second out. So now for McNeil, if you can get this next hitter and, get into the 6th inning with just a 1-run deficit, I'd say that's a win for the Panthers.
It's already chance of Eddie coming from the visitor side as Eduardo de Olio steps into the batter's box for his 3rd time tonight. Doesn't have a at-bat onto his record here because he's walked the first 2 times up. Four hits aside for these two teams. And again, the Majors with that 3-2 lead. Latest one just a moment ago with Tucker Zadunik's sac fly, allowing Escato to come in. The 1-0 into the dirt. 2-0.
Deolio coming off a double-digit homer last season, 11 bombs in those 42 games, and gotta think Owen McNeil has studied that scouting report coming into tonight, because he has not given him anything to hit, as you mentioned, Mark, the 2 walks, and starting him off with 2 balls in the dirt.
Well, Eddie DeOlio and Jack Couch Park and home runs, they tend to mesh well in the same sentence. This is a guy that knows how to hit the long ball in this ballpark. Remember his rookie season, he had 4 home runs here in 1 game. Just unbelievable stuff from Eddie. Here comes the 2-1 from McNeil, and that's going to clunk him right in the back. And DeOlio is going to take first base. So he's still without an official at-bat for the Majors catcher here this evening. And the second hit batter.
And got to imagine that this is going to be it for Owen McNeil now. I think Pete Kiefer wanted to give him every opportunity to get out of the inning, and that was the last batter that he was going to face regardless. So another start and another instance of the Panthers starting pitcher not getting through 5 full innings.
Well, there goes Owen McNeil. He is done. We're going to have a new pitcher into the ball game. It's going to be Gavin McLean. Stay with us. You are watching KPTV Live. Welcome back to KPTV Live. Oh, captain, my captain, the captain of the Laurier Golden Hawks, Gavin McLean, now on the pitcher's mound here for the Kitchener Panthers.
And a tough first appearance of the season, coming in with 2 runners on in a crucial part of the ball game, facing Starling Joseph. 0 for 1 so far on the day, but tough at bat anywhere in this majors lineup, really.
Starling Joseph swings at that one and misses, evens the count at 1-1. Joseph striking out his last time up, walked in the first inning. Runners on first and second. Lenahan on second. Eddie DeOlio plunked in the back. He is on first. 3-2 scoreline. Majors with the lead. Infield at traditional depth as Starling gets out of the way at that one. Smiling as he's backpedaling, and all he can do is grin. Just a happy guy, that Starling Joseph, playing some baseball again.
I mean, Panthers pitchers have not been scared to throw that pitch up and in tonight. Already seen 2 hit batters, and not including Starling Joseph, who, of course, fouled that pitch up and in on his hands in the first inning that ricocheted and hit him in the face, but was good enough to stay in the ball game.
The 2-1, that one's going to miss on the outside edge. Joseph ahead in the count, 3-1. And Gavin McLean, again, saw a little bit of action in 2024 with these Panthers. So technically his second season in the league, albeit very limited appearances for him as he gets strike 2.
Good confidence there. Going upstairs with the fastball and challenging Joseph gets him to swing through it, but that gets the count full, and with 2 outs, runners will be going. So, want to keep this ball in play if you're Kitchener.
Now, McLean has had some appearances as a starter with the Golden Hawks, so you know you can get some length out of him if you need to. Curious to see what the situation will be for him, as that is going to be cued down the line, foul.
I think Gavin got away with one there, a breaking ball up in the zone that Joseph just waited back on. It was just a bit out in front. That's a pitch that, if he times it well, a good chance that's finding the gap and bringing home at least 1 run.
So Owen McNeil exiting the game in the middle of this inning, 83 pitches. So a night where, you know, you get a little bit of length out of him, a little bit more than what you saw in the first couple of games, but exits the game. McLean in here looking to get out of it. The 3-2. That one is going to get through into left field. Getting the wave home is Lenahan. He'll come in to score, and it's an RBI single for Starling Joseph to make it 4-2. Trent Lenahan has now crossed the dish 3 different times here tonight.
He's been getting on base, and the rest of his teammates have done a great job picking him up and making sure they capitalize. Tough position for Gavin McLean to come into, and got himself in a pitcher's count, but full credit to Starling Joseph. Saw essentially the same pitch twice. The second one was thrown for a strike, waited back, and should a solid ground ball through the hole on the left side.
Jarrett Burney now the batter. He pulls away from that first pitch. It was way high and inside for ball 1. Similar location there, a little bit closer, but he also leans away from that one for ball number 2.
This is where the Panthers coaching staff, I'm sure, would love to see Gavin McLean show what he can do and really challenge these hitters into the bottom third of the order already with a 2-run deficit. Don't want this to unravel, but these are the guys they brought you into face, and try and keep the damage to a minimum.
Lays off of that last pitch. Count is now 2-1. Now, similarly to Zane Scansey for Kitchener, Burney has experience with the Okotoks Dogs. He was with them in 2024, as that is going to be strike 2. I'm going to say he went around. He was the Okotoks Dogs Rookie of the Year that year. Of course, the Dogs were the WCBL champions. He had a .441 batting average, 13 steals in 35 games. played collegiately at Reinhardt University, where he teamed up with Tucker Zadunik, his teammate here in London. The 2-2. That one's sent into right field, and that's going to drop for a base hit. Coming around to score is Eddie DeOlio, and the throw is going to get by Junior Ibarra, and that one goes off the glove. And that's going to be another runner coming in to score. As Jared Burney does some damage. He goes all the way to third base. And it's a 4-run inning here for the London Majors. We're now up 6-2.
Things just kind of going from bad to worse for the Panthers on that play. Once again, another soft hit ball. They haven't really hit anything really hard off McLean, but that one into right field. Penalve comes up throwing. Maybe a bit of an ill-advised throw. Don't think they ever really had a chance to get DeOlio at home. The ball wasn't cut off, and then it skips past Ibarra. Then all of a sudden you're scrambling. Thought they were going to have a chance to get Joseph at the plate. I mean, they had him dead in the water, but just a play where Ibarra, a rare mistake where he took his eye off the ball for a second before he applied the tag and results in another run. And now things have started to snowball in this fifth.
I don't know if you can call that a triple. I'd probably call that a double.
I mean,
and then having the advancement to third.
Where it was hit was definitely a single all the way through. And ends up advancing to third after a couple Panthers miscues.
See what the official scoreline is. So here comes David Dreyers. Again, Bernie goes over to third base. Eddie came in easily. That one goes way inside. And it got by Ibarra. And then the throw back to the plate goes off of the glove of Ibarra as Joseph crossed to make it 6-2. That one misses on the outside. So they are going to call it a single for Bernie.
This game can be cruel sometimes. This rally for London, all with 2 outs. The Panthers just 1 out away from getting out of this jam, but hit by pitch, a single, then another single that leads to 2 more runs after the miscue on the throw home. And now if you're Gavin McLean, it's all about stopping the bleeding. Already 4 runs in.
I do want to mention that the Kitchener Rangers, who share the same parking lot as us here, they will compete at the Memorial Cup Finals. That one goes into the dirt. They compete in the Memorial Cup Final. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop in Kelowna, BC. You don't know who their opponent is yet. They are going to have a screening of it at the Odd here. And it just so happens we got a game here that afternoon as well against Hamilton. So if you want to get your tickets, come and enjoy some baseball during the afternoon. And then it's just a hop, skip, and a jump away to the building behind us to watch the Memorial Cup Final on the big screen. As that's going to be a walk for David Dreyers.
Tough first outing of the season for Gavin McLean. Doesn't look like he's going to get the opportunity to finish this one. So comes in and does not record an out.
Should mention it's also free admission to go into the Odd. And Gavin McLean will come out of the ball game. We're going to have a new pitcher come in on the other side. Stay with us. Third pitcher for the Panthers here in the fifth as the London Majors are getting a rally going.
Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me in. Yeah. Can't answer my phone now. Just leave it there, that tone. Ballin' can't beat me up 'cause I'm back in my zone now. 'Cause I'm back in my zone now.
Welcome back to KPTV Live. Well, out comes Gavin McLean after a short outing for him, and in comes the lefty, the import from Dominican Republic, Samuel Quintana.
And Quintana's been called upon quite a few times in the early going for Kitchener this season. Already his 4th appearance in just their 6th game of the season has been effective when they've called upon him. Hasn't worked more than 2 innings in a single game yet. Last pitch a week ago against London when he came in, shut the door, ended up picking up the win in that game, did not allow a hit or a run. Struck out a couple batters of the few he faced, and now he's going to be tasked with just getting the Panthers to the bottom half here, only down 4.
Well, another runner 90 feet away in Jared Burney. David Dreyer's on first. So runners on the corners with 2 away here for Louis Jean. He has struck out both times he has been at the dish. As this is the 9th batter for the London Majors in this inning as he takes strike 1.
And Quintana, obviously a big guy at 6'7", that high release point, and comes in at about that 3/4 arm angle, and a much different look than what Gavin McLean and Owen McNeil had to offer. So hopefully Kitchener's thinking that the difference in the delivery and how that pitch is going to come in will throw London off a bit, at least that they can get the out they need and only have themselves down 4.
A San Francisco Giants prospect at just the age of 18 and 19 years of age. Samuel Quintana was looked upon as, quite the prospect in his teens. Still has some gas completely in his tank as he gets strike 2 right there. Of course, was part of the Superior Baseball Championship in 2025 in Puerto Plata. Also played in Colombia for a time. Gets the sign, takes a look over at first. Here comes the 1-2. Right on over to Scansey. Hops on him over to second for the force, and they'll get the outs. So 9 batters come up to the plate, and the London Majors get 4 across. It is 6-2 visitors, and that's an out that you needed, Ian Jodry, as the Kitchener Panthers now have their work cut out for them, down by 4.
Yeah, I mean, really it was an out that they needed about 5 batters ago. Owen McNeil was really close to getting through 5 innings for the first time of the season. He had 2 down, and at that point had only allowed the 2 runs to come across to score, but then that hit by pitch from Deolio and P. Kiefer. At some point, you've got to get Gavin McLean in this season, and of course, you're thinking, a 4-game and 4-day stretch, no better time to do it, but ineffective in his appearance, and things just kind of snowballed right after the Panthers bats had put together a solid bottom half of the 4th inning, and now for, the 5th time this season, every game they've been playing from behind, they'll have to do it once again.
Well, it will be the 8-9-1 due up here for the Panthers. Jamie Cabral, Charlie Towers, and Matteo Zeppieri. And I'd be curious to see if we have any pinch hitters coming in to the ball game at this stage, at the very least. Although, Cecilio Pimentel, first time around the order, it was 1-9, all retired, but a bit of a rough 4th for Pimentel. And if you're the Panthers, you want to try and jump on him early here.
Absolutely, and nothing too flashy from those Panthers in that 4th inning. The leadoff walk from Zeppieri, then just a couple singles, and nothing really hard hit. The big one, of course, Malik Williams going with that pitch, sending into the opposite field that kind of kept that inning going for Kitchener. And now they'll have, as you mentioned, Cabral, a lefty, to start this bottom half of the 5th. You mentioned, wonder if there's going to be any pinch hitters. I think you kind of let the order play out, at least for the rest of this trip through the order. And if you somehow get back into the game, then maybe you look to bring a pinch hitter off the bench. Obviously, the big one that we're thinking of is Fuji. Josh Williams, 2 guys are on the bench, but the Panthers aren't really back in this game in the next couple innings. Got to think Pete Keeper's just going to want to give them the complete day off and have them ready to go tomorrow night at Fergie Jenkins.
Jamie Cabral striking out swinging in the 3rd inning. As we'll see if he can start a rally going for these Kitchener Panthers. 3-2 to start the season. You mentioned that extra innings loss against the Barrie Baycats a few nights ago, a game where they were trailing 5-0. In fact, didn't even get a hit through the first 5 innings. So you know that these are some comeback kids. So a 4-run deficit, they've been here before.
As much as I want to say this is kind of the first game of the season where the Panthers haven't really been in it, they were also not in it at all on Tuesday for the first half of that game at Athletic Culture Stadium. But late rally, a couple big extra base hits late in the game. Petey Kiefer's double is one that comes to mind. This is a dangerous lineup that can get it going, and I think step number 1 is getting to Cecilio Pimentel.
That one's upstairs. They're going to say that's a foul. It's hip, though, and that'll be strike 2. Well, Jamie Cabral really came into the ball game late last season more often than actually being a batter. So, trying to, figure out his game a little bit more from this side of things, and Pete Kiefer giving him an opportunity. The 1-2, swing and a miss. They're going to throw over to first to complete the out, and that'll be 1 away here in the 5th.
Another nasty breaking ball from Pimentel, just that slider that starts down low in the dirt. That one didn't have as much horizontal break, but more than enough vertical break to fool Cabral and have him swing through that one.
That's 6 strikeouts for Pimentel here, as Charlie Towers will come up. That one gets into the dirt. For 1-0, that one missing upstairs. 1-1 the count. Or 2-0 is the count. Pimentel gets set up. That's going to be strike number 1. Charlie Towers, the batter. Former Toronto Maple Leaf, former Hamilton Cardinal. The 2-1 gets a piece of that one. Dreyers will corral it over to first in time, and that'll retire Towers on the 4-3.
Boy, oh boy, Pimentel has looked really comfortable throughout this game. Obviously, a tough 4th inning, but seems like he's kind of just picked up right where he's left off in this 5th inning. Really good pitch sequence to Cabral, and then even when he falls behind to Towers, gets them to roll over. More weak contact, and Panthers bats continue to search for answers against this strong London lefty.
Zeppieri showed bunt, but he peels away. That'll be strike number 1 as that one goes right across Ottawa Street. That one missing on the outside. 1-1. Zeppieri walked and scored back in the 4th. That one missing inside. Just a great piece to have at the top of the lineup, as you mentioned before, Ian. Speedy, has power, just has all that 5-tool player that you like to have. Here comes the 2-1. That one sent a mile high. Escado gets underneath it, shallow center. He makes the grab, and that's a 1-2-3 inning for Cecilio Pimentel. We are through 5 here at the couch. The London Majors 6, the Kitchener Panthers 2, here on KPTV Live.
Follow the Panthers anytime on social media for the most up-to-date information on the Kitchener Panthers. Hit like and subscribe on this very YouTube channel so you are notified of all our latest content, including live home games just like this one.
Top of the 6th, here from the couch, Samuel Quintana, still the pitcher for the Kitchener Panthers. Out of town scoreboard, it is the 6th inning right now. The Barrie Baycats 6, the Welland Jackfish 3. So the Baycats up at the pond. As I have the live stream happening right in front of me. Looks like they're trying to dispute a call at third base. Looks like a Barrie player got picked off, but I think they're waiting to see if they can reverse that decision. So again, the Baycats up on the Jackfish. 0-1 count here on Michael Escato. He has reached 2 times here tonight. Pair of singles, a fly out on his ledger. And that's going to go off the bat foul.
Got to think at this point of the game, the Panthers are looking for Quintana to eat up a couple innings. I mean, he's a guy that they've relied on heavily already, 4 appearances in 6 games to start the season. And he's a guy that goes right at hitters. He can keep that pitch count low and make himself available for a few other relief appearances.
This is going to go right to the second baseman, Scansey. He gets it over to first in time. Not a hard man to miss over at first base. A big, big unit in the first baseman in Malik Williams to try to throw over to.
He's a true first baseman in just about every way, shape, and form. And what a luxury for this Panthers team to essentially have 2 of them this year. Of course, Mark, you've talked to both of them on CPL changeup and their first time playing together, which is pretty crazy to believe at this point in their careers.
So Xavier Whittle is going to come in here to pinch hit for Jaden Babiak. He takes one inside for strike number 1.
I like the move from Rup Chanderdat, bringing in a righty hitter, replacing Babiak, the lefty in the lineup now that Quintana's on the mound.
That one's going to go off the glove of Junior Ibarra. Well, Jaden Babiak exits the game. He went 0 for 3, so trying a bit of a different look here. We all know Drew Chanderdat not afraid to go to the bench as early as the 6th inning. Again, it's kind of the early goings of the season still, so the time where you want to try to get guys into the lineup a little bit more and get their feet wet.
I think it's that, and also, learning guys like Jaden Babiak and what they have to offer. Who obviously started in the 2-hole in this game. Struggled a bit, went 0 for 3, and when you have that luxury and, of course, a big weekend coming up ahead on the schedule, you can get some guys off their feet a bit, get a few other ABs in there. You're going to need a lot of bodies operating at a high clip when you're playing 4 games in 4 days.
A legend at Humber College is Whittle as he swings and misses. Actually got a piece of it, so he stays alive. It's a 2-2 count. .420 average in 2025 at the OCAA level.
He was smoking the ball.
Yes, he was. Two-time OCAA first-team All-Star. Gets a piece of that one, stays alive. Known to be quite the power hitter, but you're seeing here, not afraid to just foul balls off and just, look for that right pitch. Quintana gets the sign. Here comes the 2-2. That one right past Quintana. Fielded by Kiefer. Over to first in time. And they'll retire Whittle on the 6-3. Whittle stretching out that pitch count of Quintana in that at-bat, but Quintana ends up coming out the victor.
And Quintana's looked real good in the first 3 batters now that he's faced. Has induced 3 ground balls and has gotten ahead in the count each time. That sets him up for success. And They're going to need a lot more of that to keep these majors bats at bay in a 4-run deficit.
Trent Lenahan will take ball 1. This is the danger that you need to watch out for in Trent Lenahan. He has been red hot here tonight.
Red hot tonight, red hot on the season, and always a threat at the plate.
Quintana, the delivery. Upstairs, 2-0.
Talk about how Quintana had been getting ahead of hitters so far since coming out of the bullpen, but you can tell he's a little bit more cautious with the big bat of Lenahan up at the dish here.
And that'll catch a part of the strike zone. 2-1 count as Quintana delivers to the bottom inside corner. Gets the sign, the delivery, and way inside on that one. Puts the count at 3-1. Two away, a 3-1 count. Looking for the payoff. There is strike number 2. Now the payoff pitch he's looking for here. Quintana gets the sign. Ibarra sets up. Swing and a miss. And the throw over to first will complete the out. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Samuel Quintana. He gets the strikeout to finish it off. And we're heading to the home half of the 6th with the London Majors still holding on to that 6-2 lead. Ian, that's a good piece of work there from Samuel Quintana.
Unbelievable. I mean, going back to even the 5th inning, when he came into that jam with 2 on and had to really come in and shut the door if he wanted to keep his Panthers in this game. Did just that, got a ground ball, and then gets a hit of the first 2 hitters he faces, who are not easy ones. And Escato, who has been red hot this season, red hot tonight. He faces a new bat in Xavier Whittle in his first AB in the CBL. And then Trent Lenahan, he falls behind early in that count, 3 balls, 1 strike, did not look confident. And then there was kind of a get me across breaking ball that catches the inside corner. And then ends up getting Lenahan to chase a real good pitch in the dirt, a pitch that takes a lot of guts to throw, especially when you're facing a disciplined hitter in Trent Lenahan, but gets him for his first strikeout of the night and keeps the Panthers still in this thing down just 4.
Well, now it's the heart of the order due up here for the Panthers. So, these are the batters you want up to try to cut into this lead. Still some outs to work with, but if you're the Panthers, you got to get at least a couple here in this inning and try to get on the London Major starter.
Well, that's just it. I mean, this heart of the order will probably get one more trip through the lineup, but at that point in the game, it might be too late. This is the moment, no doubt about it. You're in the mid to late stages of a ball game. You've got a couple big hitters coming up, and Kiefer, Williams, Penalve. These are the guys where you need to string at least a couple runs to get yourself back within striking distance.
So here is Petey Kiefer. He is 1 for 2 tonight. And Escada, Pimentel, his first showing in the CBL, has looked pretty good here so far, as that one is going to get underneath the strike zone for ball 1.
I mean, into the 6th inning still with under 50 pitches thrown. I mean, he is doing this Majors pitching staff a world of favors tonight by eating up that many pitches. And that's including an inning where he had to face 7 different Panthers and end up giving up 2 runs. But aside from that one blip in the radar in the 4th inning, he has been lights out tonight.
That's strike 1. Pimentel. It's no surprise coming from a guy that played 14 seasons of pro ball. Was with the Pittsburgh Pirates organization for a time. Was into the Arizona Diamondbacks organization for a bit. A lot of international baseball for him, but it's a lot of experience to lean on. Here comes the 3-1. Skied high. Shallow center field. Bernie coming in, and he will make the catch on the run.
An unfortunate break there for Petey Kiefer. That bat shattered, and the barrel of the bat almost ended up hitting the first base coach on the plate. Went flying all the way up about 90 feet from the plate. That one just ran in on his hands, and the broken bat doesn't do him any favors there for out number one.
That'll bring up Malik Williams. Singled and scored back in the fourth. The lefty-righty matchup. As Malik lays off that first pitch for ball one. Looking for something in his wheelhouse. That one is not going to be anywhere near that, because that'll be ball two.
I mean, one thing you know you're getting with Cecilio Pimentel is a pitch to hit, no doubt about it. I mean, just the one free pass issued so far tonight, he has been filling up the strike zone and not wasting a lot of pitches.
Well, and I think he's gotten some tips from some of the other majors pitchers that have pitched in this ballpark before. Not that he needs extra advice with the experience that he brings, as that's going to go for ball three, but he knows in a hitter-friendly ballpark like this, you want to be successful, you can't leave anything over the plate. You need to hit the corners. The 3-0. That's going to miss upstairs for ball four.
Just as we talk about how few walks in general Pimentel issues and has issued tonight, Malik Williams goes up there and draws himself a 4-pitch walk. Base runners have been really hard to come by tonight for the Panthers. Now you got your cleanup hitter up with only one out. Love to see him at least get Malik over in a scoring position.
So here comes Yasvani Penalve, as he's going to take a timeout here. Throw inside, and Penalve gets out of the way. Someone mentioning there might be a beach ball around? I don't know if I see one. Well, Penalve's looking for a beach ball to hit, I'll tell you that much.
I think he would have preferred to have been hit by a beach ball on that last pitch. That ran in on him already. Penalve, a guy who doesn't really crowd the plate, so that one was well inside.
That one missing on the other side of the dish, so 60 pitches at this stage of the game. Again, for a pro like him, not surprised, but at the same time, too, you don't see a pitcher at this stage at just 60 pitches in this league. Just really goes to show you what Pimentel brings to the arsenal here.
I mean, efficient in like every way, shape, and form for Pimentel so far. And if this is just a preview of what he's going to bring to the major squad this season, he's going to be a real treat to watch on the bump in London this season. Been just so efficient tonight with his pitches. Mentioned just the 2 walks and really only the 1 inning where he's faced more than the minimum. In fact, that's it. Yeah, just the 4th inning. Every other frame, he's only faced the 3 batters. That's how you keep that pitch count low.
Well, you like to see maybe 12 to 15 per. I always say this: 12 to 15 pitches per inning on average is kind of where you want to be. He's blown by that. That one's inside. 3-0 counts here on Penalve. He's 0 for 2 tonight. The delivery of the 3-0, that one's ran across the heart of the plate.
Obviously, Penalve's so good last year for this Panthers team. A guy they really relied on in the middle part of the order. So far this season, he's picked up right where he left off.
Chopper, and that's going to go off the bat and off the foot, and Penalve goes down, and they're going to have to come and check on him.
That one hurts.
Oof.
One of those pitches up in the zone that just fouls straight down, and see some guys wear an ankle guard, and You see he's wearing it on his front foot, but can only protect so much of that surface area of that front ankle. Runs and hits in a tough spot, but looks like he'll be good to stay in the ball game.
It's a 3-2 count here on Penalve. The delivery, and that's going to miss downstairs. Ball 4. Couple of free passes here for the Panthers. Can they do something with it, though?
Well, after Penalve fouled that ball off his ankle, you got to think that Pimentel was going to challenge him with a pitch in the strike zone, something that he would have to put in play, but just couldn't locate that fastball where he wanted. Missed just a bit low, and now the Panthers have themselves a bit of life.
Junior Ibarra now the batter. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Malik Williams on second. Penalve on first. First pitch he sees is going to roll down the line, just foul.
Second broken at bat of the inning for a Panthers hitter. Last time we saw was Petey Kiefer, and he had the barrel fly all the way up towards the first base bag. That time Ibarra just had a shard of his bat go flying back toward the Panthers dugout, so new lumber needed for the Kitchener catcher.
So it's an 0-1 count. There is a defensive substitution. If you remember, Xavier Whittle came in to pinch hit for Jaden Babiuk in left field. Whittle is back on the bench. Believe that is Hancock. That is in left field. We didn't catch the number immediately. But we can tell you there is a defensive substitution because of that pinch hitter in the last inning for the London Majors. That's in for a strike. An 0-2 count.
That big sweeping breaking ball has been Pimentel's friend all night. Kind of starts on the outer half of the plate, then works across the face of the plate and just froze Ibarra that time, who was most likely sitting fastball.
The 0-2 fouled right toward the Panthers dugout. And what you're seeing here, too, is, Dreyer's really keeping an eye on second base, but, very quickly getting the hops to get into his traditional second base spot.
Well, the Majors have already been burned by that once tonight when it was Malik Williams back in that fourth inning. The perfect hit and run with Zeppieri in motion. And the hit and run was what opened that right side of the infield and ultimately cashed in the Panthers' first run.
That one's going to get right on over to the shortstop. They'll get the one throw over to first in time. They'll get the double play. A 6-4-3 to finish off the side. And it remains 6-2. The Panthers trailing the London Majors through 6 here at the couch. You are watching KPTV Live.
Everyone dreams of being great. Only a select few can be iconic. But only one is chosen. Introducing the Chosen One from Rawlings. The all-new one-piece composite iteration of the top-rated and established Icon BB Core bat.
Welcome back. Next 5 games up for the Panthers. We talked about it at nauseum, Ian. They got a busy weekend upcoming. A couple games against Hamilton as well in the span of a few days, but can't overlook the next couple. Chatham, Kent, Guelph on the road, and then Hamilton here on Sunday.
Then you look at those 2 home games against Hamilton, and I got to think those are going to be big games in the season because we kind of know who the teams are going to be at the top. The question is who are going to be those teams battling for that last playoff spot, that play-in spot, the 4-5. And so far in the season, Panthers and Cardinals, they're kind of trending to be those teams that could be fighting for those final couple spots.
This is Tucker Zdunek hit a sack fly RBI his last time up. As Ben Hewitt now into the ball game for the Kitchener Panthers.
Ben Hewitt, in just his second appearance so far this season, he came in the home opener against the Barnstormers, ended up picking up the win in that game. I think that one hit Zdunek on the foot.
He's selling it like it did. He's having a conversation with Alex Taccone, and
I think
they're going to have a conversation about this.
I think that hit him all the way. If he doesn't get this call, that's a big break for Hewitt and the Panthers.
So the meeting of the minds near the mound here to try to decide this one, and imagine this won't take too long. Zdunek, the leadoff batter in this inning. And they're gonna say stay put. No point toward first, so Zdunek is gonna have to continue.
Big break for Hewitt. Should have had the leadoff man aboard, but instead he'll get to operate with a 2-1 count. Mentioned he's in just his second appearance of the season, pitched in that home opener, only faced one more batter than the minimum. And that one scoreless inning against the Barnstormers and picked up the win.
Lasered into right center as Tucker Zdunek says, well, if you're not going to award me first base, I'm just going to do it the right way. Base hit to lead things off here in the 7th.
Yeah, that's better for the OPS anyway.
Absolutely. And that'll bring up Eddie DeOlio. 0 for 0 in this game. Pair of walks, hit by a pitch his last time up. And that one is going to be fouled back to the fence.
Panthers pitchers have got the leadoff batter of the inning every frame except for one, and that was the 5th when they unraveled and ended up giving up 4 runs. So Hewitt gives up a single to the leadoff batter here in the 7th, and now he's got to work with some traffic on the base paths.
What can Big Ben Hewitt do here? The big 6'5" pitcher from New Westminster, BC. Swing and a miss for strike number 3 on Eddie DeOlio, and there is a big K for the big man.
Big man and big gas on that pitch from Ben Hewitt. Just challenged him with the fastball up and in on the hands, and no chance for DeOlio to catch up to that one. Very tough hitter to strike out, but that should give Hewitt some confidence for the rest of this frame.
That'll bring up Starling Joseph. First pitch he sees is laced toward the porta potties down the right side.
You ever been in a porta potty and get startled? It's not fun.
It is the worst.
I hope no one was in there when that struck a ball.
Woodstock was a heck of a time, Ian. That one is going to miss outside. So is Oktoberfest. Speaking of, you know what? What a weird way to transition into a sell. We got Oktoberfest night coming up later on this season. You can get your swag for our special Oktoberfest night in the shop or online. The 1-1. The runner goes right on over to Towers. Throw over to first in time. And that'll retire Starling Joseph, but Zdunek gets over to second.
Productive at bat, but speaking of porta potties, that's a big second out.
Oof. Oh my goodness. We're having too much fun up here.
Home game 3 of 24.
It's going to be a long summer, Ian. It's going to be a long summer. Hope you got the porta potties locked up and ready to go.
Well, no, you don't want them locked up. Then no one can get in.
I mean, locked to the ground, Ian. Keep them in
It's true.
place.
Yeah, no, you don't want that. No, I watched someone in a porta potty once, and then a golf cart ran into the porta potty and started dragging it. That has to be one of the most terrifying
Oh,
experiences
no.
you can endure.
See, that's what I mean. Lock it down, cement it to the ground. Here comes the 1-0. Something stinks. My goodness. I'll tell you what doesn't stink. The smell of some Franks that we have been smelling in the broadcast booth here all the time. If you can't get to the ballpark, well, you should. We got the swag, and we got the concessions going all summer long.
You need to be able to replicate that smell in other places, like a hot dog candle.
I think you can.
That's got to exist.
I'm pretty sure that's out there.
That has to exist.
That one off the end of the bat and off the glove of Scansey. They're going to put the stop sign over on Zadunik. And no, they're going to allow him to run home. He slides in safely. A whole lot of calamity happening here. What is going on as Jared Burney gets all the way over to third base off of all of that happening?
I mean, it all starts with a bad play from Scansey overranging in a shallow right field, a play that he probably should make, just has it go off the tip of his glove, then makes an ill-advised throw to third, and Towers just had no clue where the runner was. He went to apply the tag, and that killed about 1 or 2 seconds that he could have used to make the throw home. If he had that extra time, good chance he throws home and gets the third out of the inning.
Well, now it's 7-2 as the Majors tack on a run. And here comes David Dreyers. Watch a strike one hit the bottom of the dish. Majors 7, Panthers 2 here on a Thursday night. Mentioned that the Panthers have a busy week upcoming. It's the first of 4 games in 4 days. There's a swing and a miss. Of course, for London, home to Toronto tomorrow. Yasiel Puig will go into Labatt Park for the first time. That one goes across, tees him up for a strike. David Dreyers, all he can do is shake his head. But the London Majors do get one more across. We are heading into stretch time. The Majors 7, the Kitchener Panthers 2. And here in stretch time, here at the couch, Panthers have a little bit of work to do. They're down to their final 9 outs, Ian.
Kind of feels like they've been behind the 8 ball more than they have at any other point this season, and that's including a game on Tuesday where they were down 5-0 against the Baycats. But just like I mentioned earlier in the game, you could kind of pinpoint a few things in the Panthers' 2 games this year that they lost that you could say, hey, this team is a few things away from being 5-0. But tonight, you look at that 5th inning for the Majors where they scored 4 runs and things just kind of unraveled for Owen McNeil. Gavin McLean came into the game, couldn't record an out, gave up a couple runs. And that's just kind of been the story of the game. And it also comes back to Pimentel, who pitched a brilliant 6 innings as he's officially done for the Knights.
Yes, indeed he is. No more Pimentel. Cade Douglas coming into the ball game here for the London Majors. And a bit of a different look going from the lefty to the righty on the mound here for the Majors. Can the Panthers capitalize and try to take advantage of a guy coming into the ballgame?
Gotta wonder if it's just going to be the 1 inning for Cade Douglas as he gets set to face the bottom half of the Panthers order, who's obviously very lefty heavy, especially at the top. So he'll get to face a couple righties here fresh onto the mound, but The Panthers would love to turn the lineup card over, get to the top of the order again, and try and chip away at this deficit.
Well, if you're following along on the online scoreboard, we only have until the bottom of the 6th inning. We don't have the official scoring for the 7th online as of yet. We'll keep you up to date as much as we can here on the live stream. But we can tell you that Rafi Gross will be the batter here for the Kitchener Panthers. Gross, Scansey, and Cabral due up. Although I imagine at this time, this might be the time where you start digging into that bench. Just 4 hits on the board tonight for the Kitchener Panthers. Swing and a miss.
Majors know how to win games in a lot of different ways. I mean, after their rainouts, they've been off since Friday when they beat Guelph in a game where they won 3-1 and there were 0 extra base hits in the entire game. Just wrote a strong start from Travis Keys, and the offense chipping away slowly, winning a low-scoring game, but they can also run you out of the ballpark in a game like tonight where they put up 7 runs in 7 innings.
You think about that strength. You have Travis Keys and Victor Payana, who were a 1-2 punch for these majors a year ago, as that's chopped down the line. That's a foul ball. Throw over to first wouldn't have been in time anyway, despite the effort there from Luis Jean. But you add Cecilio Pimentel into that 1-2-3, the rotation. That's as stout of a 1-2-3 as you're going to get in the CBL.
Oh, it's scary during the regular season, but even more scary when you're thinking about a short series, like a playoff series, and you're playing a best of 7, and you have 2 guys out there, games 1 and 2, you just put yourself in such a strong position to take a 2-0 series lead.
So Rafi Gross will go back up to the plate. He's got a 1-2 count to deal with. He's 1 for 2 tonight. Gets the sign. Check swing, and that's just going to bounce right on over to Lenahan. A bit of an excuse me. Here is a golf ball. I'm just going to catch this one.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Took the words right out of my mouth, Mark. That is an excuse me swing just about every way, shape, and form. Pitch on the outer half of the plate that couldn't hold up, ends up making contact, and just a soft little blooper over to Lenahan at first base.
Would you call that a pop? A fly?
I don't think it went high enough for either of those.
No. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't even call it a liner. That is a liner, a dart from Zane Scansey to Luis Jean, and he just fires it on over to first. I don't even think it had enough mustard to be a lineout. So Josh Williams is going to come in to pinch hit for Jamie Cabral. So officially, both Williams brothers getting into the ball game. Okay, so there is a tradition here at Jack Couch. If you don't get a walk-up song put into the system in time, you get a WWE wrestling theme. Josh Williams, I don't know if he chose The Rock, but we're giving him The Rock. And let's see if he can smell what they're cooking here tonight. As that's going to be strike 1. Smelling hot dogs. He's looking for one to sniff at to try to close the gap, even so slightly. The 0-1. Swing and a miss.
And he was looking to put one on the board with that swing. Big hack at a pitch down in the zone. Great pitch from Cade Douglas.
The 0-1 swing, and that's going to be another strikeout here in this ball game for the London Majors as the Panthers go down 1-2-3 in the 7th. We're heading to the 8th here at the Couch. The London Majors 7, the Kitchener Panthers 2. You are watching Kitchener Panthers baseball on KPTV Live. Welcome back. 8th inning already underway. There you see the scoring summary throughout tonight's ball game. And it's that 4th spot in the 5th that has really ballooned London here on a Thursday night, Ian.
Yeah, we were all advocating for Owen McNeil to go out there and get through that 5th inning. Was so close, 1 out away, but things really snowballed.
Throw on over to first in time. They'll get the out on Luis Jean on the 5-3. Ben Hewitt still in the ball game. It's one of 2 games happening around the CBL and a bit of an update happening at the Pond, Ian.
Oh, that's right. After Barrie jumped out in front to a 6-1 lead, the Welland Jackfish went on to score 6 unanswered runs of their own, all walks, singles, or fielder's choice, no extra base hits. They end up scoring 2 in the 5th, 4 in the 6th to take a 7-6 lead, but the Baycats have just taken the lead again off a solo shot from Edgar Figueroa. So apologies, Barrie has tied the game at 7 on that solo blast.
So before that solo blast, you would say
it was 6-7. Barrie was trailing.
Okay. Getting a piece of it there was Michael Escato.
I think we're too old for that.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm a millennial, so I'm definitely too old for that. Escato 2 for 4 tonight. Skies that one high. It's going deep, but it's going to stay in the ballpark. Zeppieri getting underneath it, and he'll make the catch.
I think that one might have touched the moon on the way down. That one was hit a mile in the air, but just getting underneath it was Jean for out number 1.
Oh, that was Escato, actually.
Escato. So that's out number 2.
Yeah, someone called Jeremy Hansen, by the way. So here comes Hancock, as he did take over on defense after Xavier Whittle pinch hit in the 6th inning. And Ryder Hancock, the outfielder, will come in to pinch hit, as that will be strike 1. He pulls off. Or rather, that was ball 1. He pulled off on the bunt attempt. Holds off. That's going to be strike 1. Ben Hewitt still the pitcher. The 1-1. That one's sky to high. Towers going underneath it in foul territory, and he can't make the grab. Oh, so close was Charlie Towers, but he lost it at the last second.
Overran the ball at first, had to come back to it, and looks like he just lost track of it, overran it, and by the time he tried to recover, that ball was behind him, and Towers being called upon to play third base tonight, not his usual spot on the field. He's a very versatile player that you can plug in anywhere, but just missed that one.
Holds off. Good patience there displayed by Hancock. That's going to be a count that's even at 2-2. The delivery, that one's going to be fouled away. Special shout out to Matt Hiscox, who was watching in from the Forest City. Takes care of the majors on the broadcast side of things. Says making a 6-7 joke. We might have a fine coming our way there, Ian.
Oh no.
That one missing inside. Maybe kangaroo court. Here that's a thing.
Our punishment is we have to do the Olympiad that we talked about all of last season. Yeah.
You know, that dropped off at the end of last year. We need to bring that back. And you know what? Got contact with all the broadcasters in the league. Might have to get into a group chat and figure out the the rules, the guidelines. Although rules and guidelines aren't really the exact same things. Thank you very much, Pirates of the Caribbean. As Ryder Hancock gets on base with a walk, and Trent Lenahan will come back in. He struck out his last time up, but he has done a lot of damage here tonight as that one sent deep down and foul on the right field side.
This is where things could get sticky for Ben Hewitt. Got through the first two batters of the inning and then facing Ryder Hancock in his first at bat. A guy who still doesn't have a CBL hit to his name ends up walking him, giving him the free pass, and now has to face a very dangerous hitter in Lenahan who has the 2 extra base hits already tonight.
That'll even the count at 1-1 as Lenahan steps back.
Mentioned London last game. They won despite neither team having an extra base hit. Lenahan has both of their extra base hits tonight, the only 2 for either side.
Interesting to note in that one as well, it was only a 3-1 game as the runner's going to go and slide in safely. No throw as it goes off the glove of Junior Ibarra. The first 2 games of the season, the Guelph Royals were blown out. That was the first game where, they really kept things close. So, that's a bit of an upswing for the Royals, but they are still struggling. Just 0-4 to start the year.
Encouraging to play in a close game against a very good team. Not so encouraging to only score the 1 run.
Absolutely, as that one's going to be fouled in. And, that's the thing with the Royals. They struggled last year to put runs on the board. They relied quite a bit on their pitching staff. And, we've known that they can get a lot of success from the pitching staff, but after a while, especially with the power they have on paper, you do want to start seeing some of those runs come across. Here comes the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Got him. And that's going to end the inning. They strand a runner. And we will head to the bottom of the 8th here at Jack Couch Park. And it is the London Majors 7, the Kitchener Panthers 2. We'll be back after this.
What I look for in a Rawlings is a combination of things. Something that will kind of maintain for a long period of time. I've had a lot of success with Rawlings over the years.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is the feel. The feel is everything. It's good to get that feel in your hands, and if you have it Rowling, it's more easy to catch. Weight goes a long way, and I feel like Rawlings does a really good job of getting you top of the line leather.
As far as the leather, I usually stick to Pro Preferred. I've actually always used Pro Preferred. I loved it from the start, so I'm kind of a guy, if I like something, I usually don't change it. So since the first day I signed with Rawlings, I've been using Pro Preferred.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is it's always felt the same. And it never falls apart. It feels good every single day I put it on my hand. And it's a mark of a pro.
Welcome back to KPTV Live. Mark Perry, Ian Jodry here in the broadcast booth at the couch. New pitcher coming into the ball game for the London Majors. It is Dustin Davidson.
The big lefty at 6'6", getting his second inning of work this season. Pitched back in that season opener, May 15th against Barrie. Only had the 1 inning of work. Did just give up the 1 hit, so only faced 1 batter more than the minimum. So a light sample size so far for the rookie, but he has been efficient when called upon.
And he's got that sidearm action too. Very, very tough to see when the ball comes out of his hand, and that angle is very, very imposing on batters. That one goes in for a strike.
I mean, you talk about the difference in delivery and just how tough it can be for a hitter when you see a ball coming in over the top versus a 3/4 delivery. And now he's coming almost horizontally east to west. It can be a lot harder for a hitter to adapt as you see Towers having some trouble here.
Towers, Zepieri, and Kiefer due up here for the Panthers, who haven't had a base runner since the 6th inning. Swing, and he got a piece of it, just enough to stay alive.
Good at bat from Towers. Not going to be easy in a lefty-lefty matchup, and so easy to get overpowered in these situations, but just fighting to stay alive. Obviously, you got to have a good two-strike approach here, considering where your team's at on the scoreboard and the late stages of the game. Just trying to fight and get on any way you can.
Davidson sets up, swing and a miss for strike 3, and Davidson gets the K to start the 8th.
8 strikeouts now overall for the London pitching staff tonight. They have done everything they've needed, everything they've been asked to do to put the Majors in position to win this ball game.
The 6'6", 230-pound submarine pitcher steps up here against Zeppieri, and Zeppieri will take strike 1. You can see where he's stepping too. Davidson using the edge of the rubber. Swing and a miss. So it's not like he's going right dead center of the rubber. He's going right to the edge of it, really working that angle.
Yeah, he wants to get as close to the left side of the batter's box as possible.
And that's going to be strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes on Zeppieri. That is not an easy thing to do, and Davidson gets him.
Davidson looking very strong and what could be a huge weapon for the Majors at the back end of the bullpen this season, who already have a very strong pitching staff top through bottom when it goes to the starters to the back end of their bullpen. You had a guy like Dustin Davidson, and he's looked good so far in the first 2 batters he's faced.
Former Victoria Harbor Cat of the West Coast League had a 1-0 record with them last season. Just 6 earned runs over 16 1/3. A 3.31 ERA in that time with the Cats. Petey Kiefer swings and misses. Strike 2. So the London Majors, again, losing 7 nights ago, and getting ever so closer to getting some revenge over their 401 rivals. The 0-2 swing, and he got a piece of it, but it's going to go foul.
Panthers have just looked overmatched tonight against all 3 of these London pitchers, but especially Davidson here since he's come in this 8th inning has just overpowered the 3 hitters he faced, and now Kiefer yet again in an 0-2 hole.
Just 11 pitches on the inning. Still 7-7 in the other game. In the 7th, Barrie and Welland. Davidson back to the edge of the rubber. He deals the 0-2 way outside. And Hancock over in left field. Everything else still the same as what we started with for the Majors. Inside infielders right at the edge of the grass. Petey Kiefer 1 for 3 tonight. Swings and misses for strike 3. And Dustin Davidson comes in and strikes out the side. That last pitch was way inside, but it fooled Kiefer enough to make him go for it. We are through 8 here at the couch. The London Majors are up by 5. We're heading to the 9th. We'll be back on the other side. Stay with us. You're watching Kitchener Panthers baseball on KPTV Live.
What I look for in a Rawlings is a combination of things. Something that will kind of maintain for a long period of time. I've had a lot of success with Rawlings over the years.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is the feel. The feel is everything. It's good to get that feel in your hands, and when you have it Rowling, it's more easy to catch. Weight goes a long way, and I feel like Rollins does a really good job of getting you top of the line leather.
As far as the leather, I usually stick to Pro Preferred. I've actually always used Pro Preferred. I loved it from the start, so I'm kind of a guy, if I like something, I usually don't change it. So since the first day I signed with Rollins, I've been using Pro Preferred.
What I like about my Rawlings glove is it's always felt the same. It never falls apart. It feels good every single day I put it on my hand, and it's a mark of a pro.
Get ready, Chatham Kents. For the first time ever in the new Canadian Baseball League era, the 2026 All-Star Showdown is landing at Fergie Jenkins Field on the July 11th and 12th weekend. The league's top talent all in one place. Watch the full slate of skills competitions, including the popular Home Run Derby on Saturday, and on Sunday, the ultimate 2026 CBL All-Star Game featuring your favorite players for a mid-season showdown. Chatham Kents, it's our time. The All-Star Weekend of the new CBL era. It's history in the making.
Ninth inning, just about to get started here at the couch. 7-2 London. As Brett Reed comes into the ball game here for the Kitchener Panthers, he delivers one up high for ball number 1. As Tucker Zadunik is in here for the majors. Swings and misses at that one for strike number 1. Zadunik 1 for 3 tonight. Got a sac fly on his ledger. Walked, singled, and scored his last time up in the 7th. That one goes into the dirt.
Brett Reed in for his second appearance of work so far on the season. Pitched 2 1/3 in his last appearance. Did not give up an earned run and has only allowed the 1 hit. So he's been effective in his 1 appearance this year. Would love a clean 9th and keep the pitch count low and make himself available later this weekend.
There's a swing and a miss, and that's going to be a story that we'll touch on just during our post game. This is the 5th pitcher the Panthers are using. Still got to go into Chatham Kent. Still got to go into Guelph. Still got Hamilton on Sunday. What arms are you going to have by Sunday? It's the question. There's a swing and gets a piece of it. It's going to go down the line, but it's going to trickle foul.
Yeah, I mean, we know Evan Elliott is going to get the start tomorrow, but beyond that, a lot of pieces to the puzzle you still have to fit in. I mean, we saw Serrata get his first start of the season Tuesday and Barrie pitch into the middle stages of that game. Got to imagine that he's going to be a bulk guy at some point, whether he's starting on Saturday or Sunday maybe. I mean, I'd like to think with McNeil starting tonight that you would have kept his pitch count low and potentially start him Sunday, but considering how deep he went in the game, I think that's out of the question now.
And that's the pro game that you have here now. Yes, we have seen 4 games in 4 days in IBL's past, but that's, making up for rainouts and, having to do things last minute. And by then you're basically doing bullpen days by the end of it. But, here now, most teams have really got themselves a 4-man rotation to work with now. And, this is where Pete Kiefer's going to have to figure out, okay, who's my 4 at the end of the day? And we might have that figured out by Sunday. The 2-2. That's going to get through the hole and into right field. Zadunik with a leadoff single. But imagine you'll see Evan Elliott in Guelph on Saturday.
I believe he's been announced as a starter for tomorrow.
Yes.
So he will start tomorrow. Then beyond that, kind of up in the air about who you're going to start on Saturday, let alone Sunday. I mean, if I'm Pete Kiefer, I'm almost thinking, let's get through Saturday. Let's go through this 3 days, and then we can reevaluate and, build out some kind of a plan for the Sunday game against the Cardinals.
That'll be strike 1 on Eduardo De Olio. 0 for 1, has walked twice in this game. Holds off on the pitch. Of course, that game against Hamilton is our next home contest. We'll have it on the air here. 2:05 first pitch will be on the air. for the pregame show shortly before. The 1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. Due up for the Panthers, by the way, in the bottom of the ninth. It's Malik Williams, Yusvani Penalve, and Junior Ibarra. Those are 3 bats to have in a clutch situation. But 5 runs to try to make up for, maybe more. As there's a swing and a miss for strike 3, just the one away here for the London Majors.
Good pitch sequence that time from Brett Reed. Looking really confident so far in the couple pitches that he's been asked to throw this evening. And obviously the big one for him is to try and get through these 3 outs quickly and keep his pitch count low. He's probably going to be called upon at least once more in this next 4-day stretch. I would say probably twice.
I think so.
Probably twice. A guy like Jake Liberta, who has been lights out of the pen this year. He pitched Tuesday against the Baycats. Doesn't get into the game tonight, but got to imagine he's probably used at least twice over the weekend.
This is really the first time that the Panthers are going to be tested when it comes to their pitching depth all season long. A lot of games, spread out, has had the rainouts to deal with as well. But these are 4 scheduled games.
And not to mention that rainout against the Baycats pushed that game to Tuesday,
yeah,
which all of a sudden meant you were playing 5 games in 6 days.
It's tough. It is a tough week. Starling Joseph, the batter, facing a 1-1 count here against Reed. Reed puts that one right across the plate for a strike. Again, London into Welland on Saturday. No rest for them as they'll host Guelph on Sunday as well. So, you talk about busy weekends. You think about Cecilio Pimentel and the night that he had here. That is a quality start from a pitcher for a pitching staff that knows that they're going to be busy this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, a quality start by the book and just a quality outing when your team really needed it. I mentioned the Panthers playing 4 games in 4 days, but London's facing the exact same upcoming schedule. They've got to play just as many games over this next 4-day stretch. And Celio Pimentel, in his first start in the CBL, was lights out. And they've been able to go to Douglas for an inning, Davidson for 1 inning. You can save some of your higher leverage arms for later this weekend. You mentioned they got a game against Welland.
That one's going to miss. 3-1 count. Or rather, 3-2 count. Well, that's going to be a big test against the Jackfish, who, by the way, now lead Barrie 9-7. Those champions, doesn't matter what stage of the ball game, they will put some runs on you. If you have a lead, you got to clinch down on it and make sure that you have a good hold of it, because they will not give you an inch.
And obviously, Welland, one of the elite teams in the league, so full credit to them. But that's now 2 games in a row where Barrie has seen a 5-run lead evaporate in the late stages of a ball game.
That's another way to look at it for sure. Here comes the 3-2. Down the line, that's going to get by the third baseman Towers. Circling around to third is Tucker Zadunik. Throw into third, that's going to miss and go off line of Towers, and that'll be a double for Starling Joseph.
Really aggressive send to have Zadunik go first to third on that play, especially on a ball hit to left field. I mean, I think a good throw from Zeppieri might have had him at third base. You never want to make any out at third, but especially when you're trying to tack on insurance runs. But it's those small things that can make a difference. Now the Majors are in position to really put this one out of reach.
This will be Jared Burney coming up. So runners on second and third here in the ninth. Misses for ball 1. He singled his last time up in the 7th. A 1-0. Upstairs, 2-0. Couple of singles for Bernie here tonight. 2 for 4 overall for the center fielder.
Both of them have had a big impact. Obviously, that 2-run single back in the 5th, but that one in the 7th was that play over at second when it bounced off Scanzi's glove and led to chaos on the infield.
That'll be a strike. And, errors have been a common theme as well, not only for the Kitchener Panthers, but around the CBL. We've been seeing a lot of teams jump on those errors almost immediately, and just goes to show the room for error is a lot different than what it has been in years past, because teams are really, really jumping on it on the scoreboard, no less.
Well, I mean, the big one and the first one that comes to mind was the home opener here against Chatham when Owen Constantino bobbled that ball at first base. That led to what I believe was a 5-run inning for the Panthers and what ultimately won them the game.
Swing and a miss for strike 2. And I'm sure that's going to be cleaned up a little bit more as this season goes along. And guys that are seasoned in this league, they tend to look at tape, and that's going to be ball 4. They'll look at the tape and they'll realize where things go wrong. And professionals, they clean up those errors pretty quickly.
Absolutely. And early in a season, that's usually when you see those numbers go high. Oftentimes, players, they join a roster where they're not playing their natural position that they're not used to, and that comes with it. We saw it earlier tonight with Towers over at third base, not a spot that he usually plays for Kitchener, and a routine foul ball pop-up ate him up.
David Dreyers fouls that one back. Bases loaded for the Majors here in the 9th. Brett Reed still on the bump. Trying to get out of a jam. Would like to maybe get a ground ball here. For the Panthers, a double play would be very nice. Don't want to give up another run.
That's what the middle infield is set up for. You see with the infield playing at normal depth, not playing in to try to cut down the runner at home. They're thinking a ground ball up the middle to get themselves out of the jam.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 2. Zadunik's on third. Joseph's on second. Bernie's on first.
Brett Reed got himself ahead in this count. This is down low on that breaking ball, and now David Dreyers, he could spot the 2-2 count. Gets that curveball to drop in there for strike 3. A big out for Brett Reed with the bases loaded. Gets a big second out, and his second strikeout so far since coming out of the pen.
Well, we talked about ground balls. I guess you can do it that way.
Now you can play the infield straight up, and you're one play away from getting out of this jam and giving your offense at least a glimmer of hope in the bottom half.
So here comes Louise Jean. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 5th, but that was the end of the inning. Otherwise, an 0 for 3 nights. And we'll get into the game story on our post-game show. Tune in after the game, and after every Kitchener Panthers home game, we wrap up the game in about 5 minutes or less. As that one goes in for a strike. And don't forget, you can also hit like, hit subscribe for the Kitchener Panthers YouTube channel. Those recap games, the old Game in 7 hits the airwaves. Won't be tonight, but if you do want to recap and not tune in for the last 3.5 hours, as that one's going to go down the line foul. If you just have the 7 minutes, want to get the highlights of the game and the lowlights, that's the place to go. 2 away here in the ninth. Luis Jean, as Brett Reed tries to pitch his way out of a jam here. Longest serving Panther on the roster is Brett Reed. 5th season in the league, all with the Kitchener Panthers. Remember, he joined in that 2022 season. Comparison, Junior Ibarra joined a year later. So that one goes into the dirt. And of course, Reed, in that first season, was a starter for this Kitchener Panthers roster, but has since transitioned into being a bullpen guy. Here comes the 2-2. That's a cross for strike 3. He got him. Small fist bump there from Brett Reed as he gets out of the jam. A bases loaded jam. And the Kitchener Panthers still have a hill to climb. They are down by 5 as we head to the bottom of the 9th. There you see it. Malik Williams, Yasvani Penalve, and Junior Ibarra due up for the Panthers. Can they catch up? We'll be back in 30 seconds. You're watching Kitchener Panthers baseball on KPTV Live.
Let me into my zone. Let me into my zone. Please don't let me into my zone. 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 Please don't let me in. Yeah. Can't answer my phone now. Just leave it there. That tone. Ballin' can't beat me up 'cause I'm back in my zone now. 'Cause I'm back in my zone now.
All right, welcome back. We're live at the couch on a Thursday night. The Kitchener Panthers looking to claw their way back into this one. They're down by 5 here in the bottom of the 9th. Caleb Casey will come in for the London Majors to try to finish this one off. Substitutions galore as well, as no longer behind the dish is Eddie DeOlio. No, that, in fact, is another person on this roster.
Looks like Adam Thuss is.
Yes, it does look like Adam Thuss. Number 37. The 2-0, swing and a miss from Malik. And that'll be strike 1.
Big cut. Got to do some damage at this point in the ball game, and you're ahead in the count 2-0. Why not take a big rip? Just could not connect.
That'll go into the dirt. 3-1.
Third appearance on the year for Caleb Casey. Second time he's faced the Panthers in a week. He actually took the loss, pitched 2 innings and gave up a run in the 10 batters he faced in that loss to the Panthers 7 days ago.
Malik gets a cut on that one, and that's going to go into the parking lot. Probably going to land on the ice surface at the odd behind here. You know, those open air stadiums, As that one is sent into the seats and out of play. Again, if you are so inclined, come on down. Sunday afternoon is our next home game against the Hamilton Cardinals. And stay at this end of town. Free admission. You can watch on the big screen inside the Kitchener Memorial Auditorium as that one's going to go past the infield. And Malik Williams has himself a single. Yes. Just to finish off my sales pitch, if you will. Come for the ball game. Stay for the Memorial Cup final as the Kitchener Rangers look to clinch their third ever CHL championship. They've got the OHL championship on their mantle already, but they would love to add the Memorial Cup. As we have a pinch runner coming in, Lawson will come in to pinch run for Malik Williams. Put some speed on that base path, Ian.
And it's the right move, even though that would just be a run. To cut it to a 4-run game, you want to eliminate a chance at a double play like this one.
And indeed, it will be avoided as Yasvani Penalve will ground out for one away here in the ninth. But again, free admission. You can watch it on the big screen at the odd. I'm imagining Samuela Bruno will come in to pinch hit for Junior Ibarra. We'll have the crowd here, and then they're just going to walk right up into the building, and there's going to be a lineup there. Free admission for a game of this stature. This city has been buzzing. This region has been buzzing for this game upcoming on Sunday. It's a 7 o'clock puck drop in Kelowna. An opponent yet to be determined, but the Rangers looking for a perfect Memorial Cup run, as that will miss on the outside for ball one here on Bruno.
Going to be interesting. Always tough to beat a team of quality twice in a tournament like that, but the Rangers have looked exceptional through the round robin out in Kelowna.
That's popped up. Playable and unable to corral it is thus in behind home plate as it rolls in and out of the glove. Well, we've had quite the success here in Waterloo region when it comes to sports teams. Of course, the KW Titans make it to the Basketball Super League final. Not the result they wanted after going up 2-0 on Sudbury. You got the Kitchener Rangers winning the J. Ross Robertson Cup. And if you're the Kitchener Panthers, you look at those two teams and you say, we want to match that. Bruno lines that one into right field. Circling around third, getting the wave home is Trent Lawson. He's going to make it in safely at 7-3 on an RBI single.
Good piece of hitting from Bruno. Haven't really seen a ton from this year. He's been more or less a pinch hitter, hasn't been in the starting lineup, but a really good piece of hitting there. Get some solid contact opposite field into right, and more than enough to bring in a Panthers run as they keep the train moving here in the bottom of the ninth.
Here comes Rafi Gross. 1 for 3 on the Knights. Skies that one high. That one's going, and it is on to Highway 7. A 2-run bomb from Rafi Gross. 7-5, and the Kitchener Panthers are inching ever so closer.
Oh boy, he put a charge into that one. What a swing from Rafi Gross. Jumped on the first pitch. He's fastball middle in. And Ryder Hancock doesn't even move in left field. Watches that one sail over the left field wall. What a majestic shot from Rafi Gross.
And just like that, we're going to get a mound visit. No signal to the bullpen as of yet. But that baseball, that left the ballpark in a hurry. 7-5 is the score.
Mentioned earlier in the game, we weren't sure if the Panthers were going to be in position to be emptying their bench late into the game, but boy, oh boy, one swing can change that in a hurry. Now you're getting to the bottom of the order. It looks like Scanzi's going to get his at bat, but beyond that, Kind of wonder if you're going to see Fuji come off the bench, a switch hitter late in the game, just a huge weapon to have if you're Pete Kiefer.
Scansey, Josh Williams in behind him. He pinch hit in the 7th inning. Caleb Casey. Not a clean inning by any stretch of the imagination.
All 3 hits have been hit very hard. Leith Williams, Samuele Bruno with the hard hit pinch single. And of course, Rafi Gross, the huge 2-run shot.
There's ball 1. It's a 1-1 count. Here on Scansey, he is 0 for 3. Swings and misses at that one. Kind of swung over top the baseball on that last one. And there's 2 strikes here on the second baseman. Misses inside, and London looking for the call on that one. They're not going to get it.
Great take from Scansey on that pitch. Tough one to lay off, and now hopes that Casey can throw him a pitch that's more middle in.
Gets a piece and stays alive. Scansey struck out in the 3rd. A couple of ground outs down the 3rd base line. The other 2 at-bats. Casey gets the sign, the deal, holds off on the swing, and they're going to say he did not go around. The appeal over to first, and you can hear it from the Panthers bench. They were excited on that one, as it's a full count here for Zane Scansey. It is a 2-run ball game.
No matter what, real good at bat from Scansey just to get to this spot.
Misses inside, and that is ball 4. Just like that, the tying run will come to the plate. And by the way, the other game, 9-9.
They say no lead is safe. Boy, oh boy, has that been on full display in both games tonight.
Both games, my goodness. What a Thursday night of action in the CBL, and there is so much more to come, as here comes another mound visit.
Yeah.
Yep. Skylar Janice, I can see those yellow shoes stepping their way onto the field from here. It'll be Skylar Janice coming in for the London Majors. When we come back, the Kitchener Panthers have the tying run at the plate. You are watching Kitchener Panthers baseball on KPTV Live. Welcome back to KPTV Live.